business visa will need to post as much as a $15,000 bond as part of a pilot program from the State Department. The proposal would apply to people from countries with high visa overstay rates and come as the Trump administration is tightening visa requirements. Specific countries impacted will be listed once the program takes effect. The bond requirement would not apply to citizens of countries enrolled in the visa waiver program. The bond could also be waived on case-by-case circumstances. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott's threatening to have missing House Democrats removed from office. Dozens have left the state to prevent a vote on a new congressional map meant to give Republicans 5 more easy-to-win House districts.
The Texas Democratic lawmakers who have fled the state say they are going to take this day by day, but their goal is to hold out for at least the next 2 weeks until Texas's special legislative session is over. Every day they're gone, they're getting hit with a $500 fine, which that's going to add up for these part-time legislators who only make $600 a month, and most of whom have other jobs that they are also now not showing up for.
Fox's Garrett Tenney. A 14-year-old boy in Middleburg, Florida, calls 911 to report he'd killed his parents.
He walked to a church about a mile from the house before calling. Responding deputies did find both parents dead.
It appears that there was some sort of domestic argument last night between Trevor Lee and his parents, and that this shooting culminated from that argument.
Clay County Sheriff Michelle Cook says the teen left the gun at the house and deputies took him into custody quickly. They're still looking into who owned the firearm and how the boy got a hold of it.
Fox's Evan Brown. A rally on Wall Street today. The Dow's up 507 points. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Imagine you're at a local event, a car backs into you, then just drives away. Partly cloudy and 82. I'm Jake McDaniel. Here's what's trending at 302. That's what police say happened in Boonville in May, and the person behind the wheel is the city's mayor, Charles Wyatt. He was at the Veterans of Foreign Wars when he hit a vehicle while leaving a parking spot and then took off. The driver who was hit gave officers a license plate number, which led them to Mayor Wyatt's home, where they found the damaged truck. Mayor Wyatt is facing charges for leaving the scene of a crash. If you see something, just say something. How one bystander led a woman back to prison. Here's Johnette Cruz.
A convicted animal abuser from Kokomo has been ordered back to federal prison thanks in part to a concerned citizen in Indianapolis. Crystal Scott was recently sentenced to 18 months in prison for violating her supervised release. The investigation that led to her resentencing began when citizens who were trying to reunite a lost dog with its owner became suspicious of Scott's behavior. After being alerted, Indianapolis Animal Care Services discovered Scott living in a U-Haul van with a dozen dehydrated and malnourished dogs and cats. In 2021, Scott pleaded guilty to animal crushing, a crime where she used an alias to acquire dogs and cats online only to torture and kill them. Johnette Cruz, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Kroger employees in Indianapolis held a rally on Sunday to say they're not being paid enough or treated fairly. David Frederick is a Kroger employee who addressed the crowd.
That's what they offered us, not back pay, but a $200 Kroger gift card. Do you know what's more insulting? Kroger gets this money back. I can't spend it anywhere else.
He and the rest of the employees there say they're insulted by Kroger's offer of a 90-cent increase over 3 years, along with the gift card Frederick mentioned. The union representing 8,000 workers has been negotiating with Kroger for several months. Both the union and Kroger will meet again on Wednesday. 2 people were found dead in a Greenwood home Monday afternoon. Police arrived at the home on Greenway Street near US 31 and Smith Valley Road, and police are looking into the cause of death. The Indiana Fever beat the Seattle Storm 78-74 yesterday afternoon, and they take on the LA Sparks tomorrow night for a 10 Eastern tip-off. You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 3:04.
It's time. You've been putting off that kitchen or bath remodel long enough. What are you waiting for? Get started today with Boer Remodeling. Boer Remodeling customer Kathy had a bath remodel with Boer. Kathy, talk a little bit about your experience.
Our experience with Boer has been terrific. The process was so easy and seamless. When we decided to do a larger remodel of our first floor, Boer was the first company we thought of hiring.
And were you happy with the results?
The results are amazing, and we are so happy with our home and the work that Boer did.
Peter is another recent Boer Remodeling customer with a new kitchen. Peter, what was the best part about working with Boer?
We especially liked the active participation that we were able to have in selection of stone for the countertops really came out beautiful. The cabinets also came out very, very well.
The best materials, the most skilled craftsmen in Central Indiana. They'll guide you through the entire process. Start with a free consultation. Talk to Boer Remodeling today. That's BOOHER, BoerRemodeling.com.
It's 3:05, and you've got WIBC traffic. Here's Mike Priest.
We have a couple of issues to start the afternoon. 65 southbound. That's heavy through the collector, North Split to Washington with a crash in the right lane. Eastbound 70 on the brakes. Belmont to West Street with a crash in the left lane. And on 865 westbound is crowded 465 to Cooper Road following an earlier vehicle fire. This report is sponsored by Rapid Radios. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies with nationwide LTE coverage. For a limited time, get 60% off and free UPS shipping at rapidradios.com. Use code RADIO for an extra 5% off. I'm Mike Priest. Follow us on X for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And now the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will fall to 66 degrees under mainly cloudy skies. An isolated shower could be possible. Up to 84 degrees on Tuesday with a spotty shower or thunderstorm possible, and then warmer conditions. Heading into the rest of the week, it'll turn much more humid as well. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Tara Hastings for 93 WIBC.
I'm Jake McDaniel on the level on the go and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weirdos?
So let's rock it. Let's see how long my voice can hold up today. Party people, what's going on? Hammer here. Sounding a little bit better than I did on Friday when, boy, that was a struggle bus to get through the fair show, baby. Thank you for riding it out with me. And, man, feeling a little bit better today. Not quite 100%, but that is where the gun guy comes in. Guy Relford, he's in for big nights today. How are you, my friend?
Man, I'm great. And I was listening to part of your show when I could on Friday afternoon. I was feeling for you, man, because you soldiered through that thing. You obviously didn't have much of a voice, and I know what that feels like when you're just trying to force what little bit of voice you got left out there. And, man, you did. You guys had a great show and had a lot of fun, and I was really proud of you for being a badass and sticking with that.
Well, I appreciate that, man, and that's what champions do. Champions soldier through, which is why Nigel's not here today. All right, so I'm glad you're here because I need a defense attorney.
Yep.
Okay? This first story warrants the opinion of a defense attorney, and we're going to start with Indiana death row. You know me. I'm a sucker for the death penalty. I'm passionate about it. But there's a guy on Indiana death row, possibly could be tried for another murder 30 years later. We're talking about the story of Sharon Myers and Kelly Eckhart. Now, Kelly Eckhart was a Franklin College student, and she was murdered by Michael Dean Overstreet. This was a guy that was tried, convicted for that murder, put on Indiana's death row. Now, since he's been put on death row, the state has deemed him mentally unfit to be executed. So he's kind of just in purgatory on Indiana death row. But the other woman, Sharon Myers, there's a lot of people that feel like Michael Dean Overstreet may have killed her too, and there were mistakes made during the trial of somebody that might be an innocent man 30 years later. So Sharon Myers and Kelly Eckhart, they were abducted 4 months apart, just outside of their central Indiana workplaces. And Fox 59 has a great story on this. So does the Indy Star today. Witnesses linked the same type of van to the crime scene area, to both kidnappings. The victims were both sexually assaulted and strangled with items from their clothing. And both bodies were dumped in remote parts of Camp Atterbury, south of Indianapolis. Police zeroed in on two different guys, though, one in each killing. Both were convicted of the murder. But now, 30 years later, the guy that was convicted for the Sharon Myers murder, there may be some new evidence that could possibly exonerate him, Guy. Attorneys and the folks at the Notre Dame Exoneration Justice Clinic claim they've got new evidence that links Michael Dean Overstreet to the Sharon Myers murders. Now, in this 80-page petition that was filed on behalf of the guy that was charged for killing Sharon Myers, they say that they've got testimony from the ex-wife of Michael Dean Overstreet, the death row guy, claiming that he came home from work the night that the first woman, Sharon Myers, was murdered, had bloody clothes on, like checked all the boxes. But for whatever reason, there were a lot of dropped balls by the folks in law enforcement. These are their words, not ours. I wasn't there, but they're claiming that a lot of tips were ignored, Guy, and mistakes were made. And now between the attorneys for this individual and the folks at that Notre Dame Exoneration Justice Clinic, they're trying to get this judge to reopen a new trial where they want to present new evidence. We haven't heard from the judge yet, Guy, but maybe there's a dude that's been on inside of a prison for 30 years for a crime he didn't commit.
Well, and that last point to me, Hammer, is the most important part of all of it, which is, the fact that Overstreet, who's already on death row for murdering, one young lady, the fact that he may have committed another murder, that's important. And you want closure and certainty for those families. And that's hugely important. But in my mind, that's not nearly as important. The fact that a guy who we know is a murderer may have committed one additional murder, it's much more noteworthy to me that there's an innocent guy who's also been sitting on death row, because there's no evidence that both of them, killed the one that now Overstreet's being suspected of. In other words, if it was Overstreet, it wasn't the other guy. And that, to me, is the impact here. And by the way, how similar are these MOs, right? Modus operandi, the same method of murder, the same sexual abuse pattern, dumped their bodies in a same location. Right. I don't know why the similarity to the Overstreet murder that he was convicted of, why that didn't create probable cause in the other trial.
Right.
No, excuse me, reasonable doubt, I meant to say. Why didn't that cause reasonable doubt? In other words, if Overstreet did it, my client didn't do it. And I can't believe that didn't establish reasonable doubt. And that to me, is just really compelling.
Jason Hubble is the name of the guy that was charged with the Sharon Myers murder. And his attorneys and this exoneration center are both saying, hey, we have tried to let everybody know that it could have been Michael Dean Overstreet, but they've ignored these tips. And now they're trying to get this Bartholomew Circuit Court judge, who presided over a 3-day hearing in February, to open this back up. Haven't heard from the judge yet, but it's also interesting that Overstreet's ex-wife is also saying there's a good chance he did it. He came home from allegedly going to a job site that day covered in blood.
Well, she's obviously come to grips with the fact that her husband's a murderer, having already been convicted of the other murder. And in her mind, she doesn't want to see an innocent person go to death row or even still be sitting in prison after all this time if her husband's the actual murderer. So I put her way up for that. And listen, a motion for a new trial after a conviction, after a death penalty, that's a high bar. I mean, it's got to be based on very significant new evidence that was not available at the time of trial, or on prosecutor misconduct that was only recently discovered. And in the articles that you sent me, Jason, that I had a chance to look at, it does look like there are some arguments that the prosecution didn't turn over all the exculpatory evidence they had, including, by the way, any evidence that would have tried Overstreet to the murder now that the other person may not have committed.
And the ex-wife, at least according to the report, is on the record of telling police all of the things we just rolled out. But the police response was, well, we were already zeroed in on Jason Hubble, and we think he was the guy.
And see, why wasn't all that information turned over to the defense? If it wasn't, there you've got an argument at least for prosecutor misconduct. But my question is for you, Jason, and that is that, you're, as you always say, and you're very consistent, you're very gung-ho on the death penalty. And listen, where we're 100% certain of guilt and these heinous crimes are convicted, I don't have any problem with the death penalty myself. However, does this case give you any pause at all to go, whoa, let's assume hypothetically that Overstreet actually committed both murders. Does this make you go, boy, I would have hated to rush this guy, the other person, would have hated to have rushed him through, not only through conviction, but then go ahead and set him up on Big Sparky or the gas chamber or the needle or whatever it happens to be. And does that give you any second thoughts?
Great question. And I'm very passionate. I'm very gung-ho about killing bad guys that we know are bad guys, right? There was no question about Benjamin Ritchie. There's no question about some of these folks. If you're telling me the family's going, hold on here, we believe it was Overstreet and this is the reason why, then I'm willing to let this thing play out. Like, I got to be fair, I got to be consistent, because I got to 100%. If they decide to give if they were to give the death penalty to the Delphi killer, now he's already been sentenced, not going to happen, but had they decided to move forward with it, I would want that to play out too.
Yeah, exactly. And
I had questions.
One thing that makes me think a lot is that you mentioned this Notre Dame group that's involved in this case, and they've done some really good work. There's this whole separate group called Project Innocence, and their focus is on using DNA to actually either get new trials or even convictions overturned of people who are on death row, to say, wait a minute, this guy couldn't have done it because somebody else's DNA was at a crime scene. And they've gotten a whole bunch of death penalty sentences overturned, and in some cases even gotten people released altogether from prison, having been found after the fact not guilty. That is the one thing, even as generally being pro-death penalty, I look at and go, whoa, how many innocent people are we willing to let go to death row to make sure that the truly bad guys are getting properly punished? I think that's a very interesting. We could consume a lot of beer having that conversation.
Right. Absolutely. Guy Relford is filling in for Big Nights today. Guy, I didn't text you yesterday because I figured you were at that Beto O'Rourke speech that was here in Indy, and the last thing I wanted to do was interrupt you really paying attention to Beto speaking here in Central Indy. Yeah,
as I would have been, cheering dramatically and excitedly for Beto. No, I happened to miss that one.
Beto came to Indy for some group called Powered by the People, supposed to be some sort of thing hyping up Indiana Democrats, specifically like those in outer parts of the state that feel like their opinions might not matter because it's so red here. In essence, kind of like being a Republican in Central Indy in Indianapolis. So they brought in Beto, a guy that basically loses every major race he's involved in, and brought us such hits like this.
Hell yes, we're going to take your AR-15, your AK-47. We're not going to allow it to be used against our fellow Americans anymore.
Boy, the left really wanted him to be a thing, didn't they?
They sure did. And right after he made that speech during the campaign, when he was running for the nomination against Hillary, started polling at less than 1% and promptly bailed out. I was so happy to see it. Hell yes, we're going to take your AR-15, your AK-47, and then he's polling below 1% and has to bail. That was too hilarious.
Great moments in Beto history. We had Ted Nugent on this program, and this was shortly after that speech by Beto. Here was Ted's response.
Hey, Beto, eat me.
Great moments in Beto history. Mike Priest, he is filling in for Matt Baer today.
Okay, a couple of problems have cleared themselves up. Thankfully, the vehicle fire westbound 865 all gone. The crash on the downtown collector southbound 65 also gone, though it is still slow from Washington to the south split. Now on 70, it's still jammed eastbound Belmont to West Street. Crash being cleaned up in the left lane. And we're getting word of a wreck in Lebanon on State Road 39, a little bit south of Anderson. This report is sponsored by Drexel Interiors. Drexel Interiors, the place to go for upgrading your kitchen, bath, or flooring. Schedule your free design consultation at DrexelIN.com. Visit DrexelIN.com for your free interior design or visit their showrooms today. I'm Mike Priest. Follow us on X for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Yeah, feeling much, much better today. Again, thank you guys for putting up with all my bull crap on Friday. I didn't want to miss the show. I didn't want to miss the State Fair show, man, because it's one of my favorite shows of the year, and met so many awesome people out there. I had to keep telling them, I'm not sick. I just have some laryngitis. I'm not contagious. I'm not hacking. I don't have body aches or anything. I just can't talk, which is problematic if you're a talk show host. 81 right now at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center. Coming up next, we will say farewell to, man, another 80s smoke show. saying farewell. And the Hall of Fame speeches this past weekend took place for the NFL Hall of Fame. Jared Allen's was badass. If you didn't hear it, I'm going to play a little bit for you next.
The Attorney General's Office, reuniting Hoosiers with over $1 million in unclaimed property every week. Visit indianaunclaimed.gov or text Hammer and Nigel to 46220 today.
Your house might be like mine, where you just had the sidewalk leading up to your front porch and your front door, and it's just your average, everyday, normal sidewalk. Ours was falling apart. I wanted to do something different. I wanted to turn that whole area, there's a whole big space there by our porch that needed to be turned into a custom concrete stamped patio. That's what we were looking for, and that's why we went with Indy Decorative Concrete. You can find out about all their work at indydecorativeconcrete.com. And now we spend a lot of time on our front patio there with a custom stamped, unique look. These guys are the best in the business. Mark and Jamie are the owners. Been around since 2007. And everyone who works for them, by the way, is a W-2 employee. No subcontractors coming to your house. So whether it's a new patio, sidewalk, porch, don't do anything until you've checked out indydecorativeconcrete.com. indydecorativeconcrete.com. And tell them Nigel sent you.
If you suffer from burning, tingling, or numbness, pay special attention as we discuss neuropathy with Dr. Matt Schulke, chiropractic neurologist and board certified in neuropathy. What is neuropathy?
Neuropathy is nerve damage in the feet or hands.
What are the symptoms?
The symptoms are numbness, burning, tingling, pain, and loss of balance.
Is neuropathy treatable?
Absolutely, and we get amazing results.
If you have burning, tingling, numbness, pain, or balance issues, call Dr. Schulke today for a free nerve damage screening. This screening will tell if you're at risk for serious complications and if you're a candidate for their specialized treatment program. Don't wait until your symptoms are so severe nothing can be done. End-stage neuropathy leaves people confined to walkers, wheelchairs, even amputations. The first 10 callers will receive a free nerve damage screening. Simply call 463-400-3338. Act now. Call 463-400-3338 for your free nerve damage screening. 463-400-3338.
An official message from Medicare.
I'm saving money on my Medicare prescriptions. Maybe you can save too. With Medicare's Extra Help program, my premium is $0 and my out-of-pocket costs are low. Who should apply? Single people making less than $24,000 a year or married couples who make less than $32,000. Even if you don't think you qualify, it pays to find out.
Go to ssa.gov/extrahelp. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Community Health Network cares for your heart health. From heart scans and vascular screenings to complex heart procedures, you can count on our expert team for the highest quality cardiovascular care, when and where you need it. Your path to a healthy heart starts with knowing your risk. Schedule a heart scan or vascular screening today. Visit ecommunity.com/heart. Community Health Network. Exceptional care. Simply delivered.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Luxury awaits you at Tom Roush Lincoln & Fishers. Come see the full line of breathtaking Lincoln vehicles at Indiana's premier Lincoln dealership. From the moment you arrive at Tom Roush Lincoln, you'll know you've arrived. Shop over 200 new Lincolns in our state-of-the-art family-owned and operated dealership with no pressure. Just the award-winning service and respect you deserve. Plus, with any new Lincoln, your first 5 oil changes are on us. Luxury awaits you at Tom Roush Lincoln & Fishers.
First 5 oil changes complimentary with any new Lincoln purchase or lease. See dealer for complete details.
Inside Indiana Business Radio, the news you need to get ahead. Indiana's business news leader, weekdays at 6:32 a.m. and 5:56 p.m. on WIBC.
You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Guy, you were telling me during the commercial break, WKRP, one of those shows that so many people talk about, especially in our industry, but it wasn't on the air that long.
No, I was just looking at that online, and it was just on from 78 to 82. And my goodness, I mean, those were sort of formative years for me. That's a couple of years in college and a couple of years of law school. But it just seems like WKRP in Cincinnati has been on live or in reruns for my entire life, it feels like, because it's just around forever. Little did I ever know, by the way, that I would ever be on the radio.
Right.
When I was watching WKRP in Cincinnati when it was actually on.
And the reason we're talking about this is Lonnie Anderson passed away at the age of 79, probably best known as Jennifer on WKRP, married to Burt Reynolds for a long time. But WKRP, if you've worked in radio, and I heard Rob talking about this morning, the brilliance of that show was they nailed every single character, right? There's always kind of like a weird kind of sleazy sales guy. Yeah. There's a smoke show chick or two. There's a wacky morning guy, a really cool nighttime guy, and a boss that probably is a little nuts. The world-famous Turkey Drop episode featuring the big guy.
Well, and Les Nussman.
Yes, the newsman.
The relatively incompetent news guy. But the Flying Turkey, the Les Nussman monologue on Flying Turkeys, I still think is one of the greatest moments in comedic TV history. That's just, you cannot watch that and not have tears in your eyes from laughing so hard.
And the debate we had with WKRP, Red-Blooded American Men, were you Team Jennifer, which was Lonnie Anderson's character, or Team Bailey, the other hot chick that was in The Office?
This is a Ginger Mary Ann thing, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
So you've got Jennifer on one side, Bailey Quarters on the other. It's the same argument as the movie star Ginger and Mary Ann.
Yeah, it is. One's more subtle, one's more girl next door. The other one is just all makeup and and lipstick and sex appeal. Yeah, and you can have an honest debate on that exact issue.
There's no wrong answer.
There's no wrong answer.
No wrong answer at all.
I was Team Mary Ann all the way, by the way.
On Gilligan's Island, you were Team Mary Ann?
Oh, yeah, on Gilligan's Island, absolutely.
What about WKRP? Were you Lonnie Anderson's character, Jennifer, or did you like Bailey wearing those glasses?
Maybe it was just the time period I was going through there. It's like was it Confederate Railroad song? I like my women a little on the trashy side. Yeah, I mean that was a little bit of Lonnie right there, and but no, she was just so gorgeous and had such a high profile I thought she was gorgeous and very appealing at the time.
Let us know on the YouTube chat. Also hit us up on Twitter at Hammer and Nigel. You can jump on Facebook or Instagram too. You got to pick both shows, okay? Lonnie Anderson, Jennifer, or Bailey Quarters from WKRP. And also, it's like a hot chick parlay. Gilligan's Island, Mary Ann or Ginger. And then, if you want, take it next level, have one winner. Who you got?
Of the four.
Right.
Okay, this is like March Madness of hot TV chicks.
It is.
Okay.
Now, listen, I don't know about you, Guy, and I've said this in the back, and I mean it. The older I get, the more I realize there was a third option on Gilligan's Island. Lovey Howell is not bad. Like, you look at pictures of Mrs. Howell, like when she's not in character. Listen, she's not Mary Ann. She's not Ginger. But on a cold night stuck on an island, I think Lovey can get it done, man.
Yeah, well, desert island. We got to consider the context. Right. I mean, there are very limited options. Yeah, good point.
Look, is she the 3 seed in that group? Yes. But she's, it's not like Joy Behar's on that island. It's not like you're stuck with, Rachel Maddow out there. All I'm saying is Lovey Howell is a viable option.
Hey, I'm just glad she's coming in ahead of the professor and Gilligan. Yeah.
Hey, real quick before we hit a break here, Hall of Fame ceremony was this past weekend, and you remember Jared Allen when he played.
I love Jared Allen.
He was just an animal
Absolutely.
on the field,
one of the greatest pass rushers of his generation.
And he's just like a regular dude.
Yeah.
Right? Likes to hunt. He did some episodes of Jackass with like Johnny Knoxville and stuff. But you wouldn't think that he would be the voice of reason at the Hall of Fame. His induction speech, he talked about how much his faith means to him, how much he loves his wife.
And to my wife, I'm reminded of what Tom Lanphier said when we were going through our premarital counseling. He said the two most important decisions you'll make in life is 1, whether you follow Jesus or not, and 2 is who you marry. Because there's only two types of people. There's boat anchors who drag you down, and there's people who elevate you. And you are a true game elevator. You're one of the smartest people I know. I am in awe of you every single day. And I love you more than life itself.
That's awesome. I love that. And then he goes on to talk about how his legacy is not going to be about playing football. It's about how he's raising his daughters.
To my amazing daughters. Brindley and Lakeland. Through this process, the word legacy has been talked about a lot. The Hall often says they're here to tell my story. Well, I'm here to tell you too, you are my greatest accomplishments. When I get called home to heaven one day, if all they talk about is this gold jacket, my career, then I failed miserably as a father, a husband, and a friend. You two are my legacy. You are both so talented, and I cannot wait to see what you decide to do and to conquer this world. So always put Christ first, find your why, dream big dreams, and always pursue greatness in whatever you do. Thank you all, and may God bless you all.
Like, if you watched that dude play the game, you never in a million years would have thought that speech would have came from that guy.
That's a good point. Big outdoors guy. And yeah, no, that's a really good point. But how fabulous is that? I loved it. I mean, talking about his faith and his family. And, looking at families, I don't put it up there with like military families where a parent deploys for months and months and is harm's way and maybe doesn't even come home. But a football family, an NFL family, they have to go through an awful lot. I mean, gone for camp for long periods of time, then every other weekend or so for multiple months out of the year. I mean, just having a missing parent, and even when they're around, they're probably focused on things like injuries and scouting reports, and I can see a family having to go through a lot.
The money helps.
The money, yeah.
Somewhere there's a military family going, there's a little difference in income here, guy.
Well, there is. That's why I say I don't put it up there with military. I'm not taking them to that level, and I didn't want anybody coming at me on social media. But they do, I think, still have to sacrifice quite a bit in terms of having an absentee parent, and it's great to see him focus on his family as well.
It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Bear here for Trajan Wealth. I've been talking about my friends at Trajan Wealth for a while. I'm a client now. I'm excited to share that Trajan is hosting a one-night-only movie premiere at Flick's Brew House in Carmel, September 25th at 6 p.m. Retirement on the Brink is their new eye-opening documentary everyone nearing retirement needs. Call now to reserve your seat. 800-670-0366 to get on the list for this exclusive event. That's 800-670-0366 or visit retirementonthebrink.com. The clock is ticking. Retirement on the Brink reveals the risks that could derail your future. It's a must-see movie event from my friends at Trajan Wealth. Again, September 25th, VIP seats available now at retirementonthebrink.com, retirementonthebrink.com, or call 800-670-0366. Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Paid advertisement.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
What he has got. The skies are cloudy and you've got 83 degrees in the Circle City. Lows tonight in the mid-60s. I'm Jake McDaniel. Here's what's trending at 3:33. New York City independent mayoral candidate Andrew Cuomo speaking out after a shooting in Manhattan that killed 4 people. The former governor calls on the city to
go from the community being separate from the police department, the police precinct, to a mutuality in the relationship, change from suspicion to trust, and change the culture with the NYPD where you don't have a reluctance to join, but you're excited to join.
This comes as the issue of policing becomes a topic in the mayoral race. One of Cuomo's opponents, Democratic candidate Zoran Mamdani, has gained attention for his defund the police platform. Montana is looking for military veteran Michael Paul Brown, who they say was involved in a fatal shooting at a bar on Friday. 4 people were killed, and the public is being urged to be on the lookout for Brown as they look into this. Fox's William Jonas.
He's been on the run now for more than 72 hours. Considered armed and dangerous, officials closed the surrounding national forest, and residents have been warned about going outside. He was last seen about 5 miles from the crime scene after a brief chase where he stole a pickup truck filled with clothing and camping gear. Now, this mountainous area has a lot of abandoned mines to hide, and he knows it well, having hunted and camped there growing up. Police say Brown, a regular, likely knew all 4 victims, including the bartender and former nurse Nancy Kelly, 64, and patrons Daniel Bally, David Leach, and Tony Palm. Now, those who know the 45-year-old Brown, including his niece, say he suffers from PTSD and mental illness.
And Brown was believed to have used one of his guns, but investigators are not sure what exactly led up to the shooting. Terre Haute Mayor Brandon Sackman says his city has been helped out by $70 million from private investment. He tells Inside Indiana Business his mindset is out with the old and in with the new.
We've taken down some condemned, dilapidated buildings, getting set up for construction, a new apartment complex, a new hotel complex connected to our convention center.
And he says they're trying to make building permits a quick and easy process online so that more people can come to his city and have a reason to stay there. You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 3:35.
Oh, man, I think it'd be super cool to go to Symphony on the Prairie and check out Tusk, which is the Fleetwood Mac tribute band. And if you're a AAA member, you get big savings on those summer night concerts. 20% off tickets to any show. AAA saving you money on outdoor music and vacations.
Going to Symphony on the Prairie, always fun. Same with going on vacation. And AAA members, you save when you have a AAA membership. You get vacation discounts, hotels, rental cars, and even complimentary travel planning. Plus, if you're running into trouble out on the road, AAA has you covered. Flat tire, dead battery, lock your keys in the car, whatever. AAA is there 24/7, 365, no matter where your travels take you. So do yourself a favor. Join AAA today or buy somebody you love a membership. Visit AAA.com or give them a call at 844-GO, AAA GO, or stop by any AAA office.
With traffic now, what's going on out there, Mike Priest?
There are new crashes to report, one at Morris and West Street, another one on Oscar Robertson Boulevard west of MLK. 65 delays building southbound 21st to Meridian and in the downtown collector from Michigan to the South Split. 70 slow east Harding to Meridian, earlier crash is gone. And reports of a vehicle fire in Fishers, northbound on 69 at 106th Street. This report is sponsored by Drexel Interiors. Drexel Interiors, the place to go for upgrading your kitchen, bath, or flooring. Schedule your free design consultation at DrexelIN.com. Visit DrexelIN.com for your free interior design or visit their showrooms today. I'm Mike Priest. Follow us on X for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
The forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will fall to 66 degrees under mainly cloudy skies. An isolated shower could be possible. Up to 84 degrees on Tuesday with a spotty shower or thunderstorm possible. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Tara Hastings for 93 WIBC.
On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
I was struggling to maintain contact with the professional world.
Dr. Ferner of Indianapolis talks about why he got the new caption phone from Relay Indiana.
When I got the phone, it turned it around.
Go to RelayIndiana.com. That's RelayIndiana.com. And read up on the caption phone.
People that I talk with do not necessarily know that I have this service. It's a piece of cake.
Go to RelayIndiana.com to learn more.
Grown-ups, don't go back to school. Go forward through school into your future as an IT professional. Whether you're starting out, switching careers, or a veteran ready for change, My Computer Career can help you get into IT in just a few short months with no prior experience. So take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu. Your rewarding career in IT awaits. That's mycomputercareer.edu. An elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including the VA benefits.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
The only way to bag a classy lady is to give her 2 tickets to the gun show.
It's Monday Gunday with the gun guy.
Just watch out for the guns. They'll get you.
Guy Relford.
Stop calling your arms guns.
Hammer and Nigel show.
This time every Monday, we bring in here the best 2A attorney in all of America, a man that's had his hand in some of the laws that have been passed here in the state of Indiana when it comes to the Second Amendment. He is the host of the Gun Guy Show, licensed firearm instructor Guy Relford. How are you?
Yeah, great. And thanks as always to our sponsor for Monday Gunday. That's Premier Arms in Brownsburg, the largest selection of new, used, and historic firearms in the Midwest. And PA Jewelers located in the farmhouse right out front. Check them out at 3754 South Green Street in Brownsburg or premierarms.com.
All right, so the Supreme Court, there's a little chatter, there's a little scuttlebutt going around that they may be looking into changing this 21 and over policy when it comes to handguns.
Yep.
There've been a lot of people that have always said, I think it's ridiculous that you can go serve your country in a foreign land and have the best weapons that money can buy, but you come back home when you want to protect yourself or your loved ones, you can't do it until you're 21. Supreme Court thinking about looking into this?
Yeah, they're going to consider it in conference this fall, and it's been combined with another lawsuit, because you're exactly right, Jason. The one case they're looking at is that you have to be currently under federal law, you have to be 21 to buy a handgun in a gun store. Now, you or I could go out on the street and sell a handgun to an 18-year-old as long as you didn't know them to be a felon or some other prohibited possessor, and it'd be totally legal. But a gun store can only sell handguns to people 21 and up. That law is being challenged for exactly the reason you described. But Florida, after the Parkland shooting at the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School a number of years ago, they passed a law to where you have to be 21 even to buy a rifle or a shotgun, a long gun, in the state of Florida. That's being challenged as well. And Supreme Court's going to consider whether to take these. I can't wait because, as you know, the analysis the Supreme Court has to go through now after the Braun decision that came down a couple of years ago is this law consistent with the text, history, and tradition of regulation of firearms under the Second Amendment going back to the time of the founding. And you know what we have back at the time of the founding? You have 16 and 17-year-olds serving in the militia. We have a federal statute. It's one of the oldest statutes on the books in this country that defines the militia in the United States as able-bodied men 17 to 45, I believe it is. And so that's part of the text, history, and tradition of the Second Amendment in this country, that people that young not only can and should be able to legally possess and buy firearms, but the country has armed them in defense of the country. And that's built right into the Second Amendment. So I'm excited for the Supreme Court to take this case. And I think this constituency of the Supreme Court, this composition of the Supreme Court, would make the right decision on that. I'd love to see it. And the primary argument is exactly the one you already made, which is, my gosh, I can serve my country at 18. I can operate drones and drive a tank or a howitzer.
Right.
And
you can be responsible for taxpayer dollars driving military vehicles and having weaponry, but you can't take your own money to protect yourself.
Right. And by the way, put myself in harm's way and potentially die in the defense of my country and the constitutional rights I'm fighting for in this country, and then not come home and have the same constitutional rights as everyone else who's 18 and above on other issues. No, it's a horrible law, and I'm really hoping they take this case and do the right thing with it.
All right, you're going to have to walk me through this Cambridge police lawsuit with a defectively designed SIG. What's going on here?
Yeah, in the gun community, and this has been going on really since the SIG P320 came out. And when the gun first came out, and this is a handgun, It was designed to compete with Glock for police contracts, military contracts, and the daily self-defense carry market as well for civilians. And in fact, the military went through it and evaluated a number of different handguns, selected the P320 for a huge government contract to actually be issued a slightly different configuration they call the M18 or the M17, but it's the same gun. Just made specifically for the military. But when they first came out, there was an issue where Sig had modified the trigger from the original design and actually put a heavier trigger in it. And it turned out that if the gun fell at just the right angle and impacted the ground in just the right way, especially a hard surface like concrete or something, that the gun could fire. And it was quote unquote not drop safe. And so they designed what they called a voluntary improvement program, and you could...
Let me just stop right there, because I think there's a lot of people listening that don't know what drop safe is. Is that a requirement on a lot of weapons? Because the people that don't know guns will think if you just drop your gun, it's going to fire off and kill somebody.
Absolutely. I can't point you to a government regulation, but the industry certainly considers a gun to be defective if it's not drop safe. And we've had other examples of guns that are not drop safe. So yeah, modern guns are designed the way they should not fire and are defective if they do fire if you just simply drop them, because it's totally predictable and foreseeable that some people on occasion will drop their guns and under understandable circumstances. So again, do I recommend it? No, but it's part of general gun safety. So the drop safety issue was one thing, but then soon after that, there started being reports of this same gun, the P320 or its military variants, going off when they were just sitting in people's holsters. They weren't being dropped. They weren't even being manipulated. They were just in a holster. And I never bought it. For years, I mean, literally years, a couple, 3, 4 years, the issue's been out there. I own 2 320s. I've trained with them. I've taken one to gun site in Paulden, Arizona, very extensive training. And I think it's a great gun. I love the gun. I've set it up exactly the way I like it. And whenever historically people have told me, drop safety is one thing, but when someone says a gun just went off, oh no, I didn't pull the trigger, it just went off. That's never accurate. It never. I mean, I've had people sit in my office and swear to me, oh, no, I didn't pull the trigger. I didn't pull the trigger. You pull a security video, where's their finger? It's on the trigger. Or there's a drawstring from their jacket in the trigger guard or something else impacted the trigger. And so I own the gun. I'm a fan of the gun. I've been a very, very late adopter, at least in terms of buying into this issue. But we just had a jury in Cambridge, Massachusetts, come back and find the gun defectively designed in a jury trial. And get this, they found it was defectively designed, and a police officer who was injured by the gun was injured by a defective design in the gun, but they're not going to award him any money because they found that he knew the gun was dangerous, he knew it was defective, and he chose to carry it anyway. That's how bad they think this gun was, that not only was it defective, this guy should have known it was defective and not carried it. And Sig has lost a couple of other cases as well. There's a lot of videos. You go out and search for it on YouTube, and people keep sending me these videos. You believe it now, you believe it now. And I'm like, Occam's razor, man. The simplest explanation is always the best, or at least usually the best. And the simplest explanation is user error. User error, user error. I've seen it too often. But you know what? There's something here. And I had one of my 320s I had available for self-defense, quick access situation in my office. Just recently, man, I've unloaded it and put it in the safe. And I'm one of the latest ones to say, you know what? There's too much evidence out there to say this is just no issue. But it's a huge deal because of how popular the gun is for the civilian carry market. And it's huge with police departments and the military.
Now, the marketing guy in me, again, former marketing director, if I'm in charge of Glock sales, my whole ad campaign is, our guns don't go off like the competition's. We're just saying.
Yeah, well,
whether
really
that's true or not, that's perception, right?
And Glock has a specific design where there's no external safety. You don't have to flip a lever for the gun to fire if it's loaded. But they have 3 different components that will prevent the gun from firing unless the trigger is pulled. And one of those is a, quote, drop safety. It's a mechanical safety built. There's a striker channel safety and there's a trigger safety. So if Glock can say this is not an issue with our gun and we can prove it in the laboratory, we can prove it in the field, and it ought to be a huge selling point. Now, Glock still is carried by the majority of police departments over other makes, but Sig was really looking to enter into that, and they took a big hole out of it, especially with the military, and this issue is really, really hurting Sig a lot.
Monday, Gunday with Guy Relford. It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
There's something timeless about radio.
It's where stories are told, ideas are shared, and communities stay connected. Our generation grew up with it, and we still believe in the power of tuning in. At Howard Bailey Financial, we believe planning for retirement should feel just as familiar and trusted. That's why we're bringing real conversations and practical advice to the airwaves. Join us every Sunday at 9 p.m. for our Retire with Purpose Radio Hour, right here on 93.1 WIBC. We'll talk about what really matters in retirement, income you can count on, choices you can feel good about, and a future that reflects your values. Because some things, like good planning and good radio, never go out of style. Howard Bailey Financial, retirement planning that speaks your language. Howard Bailey Securities, LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Please see disclosures at howardbailey.com. The Retire with Purpose Radio Hour is a paid placement on each airing station.
You know exactly why you need to remodel that kitchen of yours. The space, it's outdated. You can't move around like you used to. It doesn't work like it needs to. You want to entertain and you want to improve your quality of life. This can happen, just not with the kitchen you have. You need to call Booher Remodeling. B-O-O-H-E-R. BooherRemodeling.com. They can take that old kitchen that's deteriorating and broken down and turn it into something that works for you and your family. Their 5-step design process from start to finish, the consultation, the preliminary design, the design development, getting all the documents together, and then getting it done. The best materials, the most skilled craftsmen in Central Indiana. Booher Remodeling will guide you through the entire process, starting with the free initial consultation, and they stand behind their work with a 2-year workmanship guarantee. Create that new kitchen. Design experts can use an existing layout or begin completely from scratch. Talk to Booher Remodeling today. B-O-O-H-E-R. BooherRemodeling.com. That's BooherRemodeling.com.
Dear driver, thank you. Thank you for slowing down when you saw the orange cones and road construction signs. My husband is one of those road workers. And today, you saved his life. If you hadn't slowed down, you would have missed that lane change, driven right into the work zone, and you would have killed him. Because you were driving differently. He'll be at our son's Little League game this weekend. He'll be there to walk our daughter down the aisle. He'll be out there tomorrow, making Indiana's roads safer. Thank you.
When driving in a construction zone, be smart, be alert, be in the zone.
This is Brian Short, business manager for the Indiana Laborers District Council. Everyone deserves a safe place to work. Do your part in the cone zone. Slow down, save lives. We're all in this together.
A message from Indiana's District Council of Laborers International Union of North America and affiliated locals.
Drexel Interiors, the place to go for upgrading your kitchen, bath, or flooring. Schedule your free design consultation at drexelin.com or visit their showrooms today. Go where the pros go.
Tired of digging through noise to find real news? Go straight to WIBC.com. Local stories, statewide impact, national headlines, info that matters. When news breaks, WIBC.com is already on it. Stay on the know while you're on the go.
Mike Priest is filling in for Matt Bear today.
Okay, Hammer filling in south on 65 from 865 to 86th Street and from 21st to Meridian. Getting pretty heavy all the way through the downtown collector. 70 tangled eastbound from Harding to the south split on 69 northbound. Crash cleanup continues. Actually, vehicle fire cleanup continues on the exit ramp to 106th. This report is sponsored by Drexel Interiors. Drexel Interiors, the place to go for upgrading your kitchen, bath, or flooring. Schedule your free design consultation at DrexelIN.com. Visit DrexelIN.com for your free interior design. Visit their showrooms today. I'm Mike Priest. Follow us on X for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Partly cloudy, 80 at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center. Monday Gunday with Guy Relford here. Guy, we got about a minute and a half here, but is this a big deal? This National Crime Information Center database of stolen guns story. I know that's a mouthful, but talk to me like I'm 5 here. What is this?
No. This is a potentially really big deal. And this was actually supposed to happen after the so-called Bipartisan Safer Communities Act was passed back in 2022, but the Biden administration, no surprise, sort of slow-walked it, and now it's being implemented finally by the federal government. But what this does, this fixes a problem, Jason, in that today, if I go in and I want to trade my gun in at a gun store, what we call a federal firearms licensee, right, a licensed gun dealer, there's no way for that gun dealer or at least before this went into effect, to check to see if that gun's stolen. They can't access that database directly. Only law enforcement can access those databases. Well, now, under a new initiative, and it's being launched, in fact, FFL's gun stores are getting contacted by ATF on this as we speak, to be saying, hey, they now have a link where they can go and they can directly check to see if a gun is stolen before they take it into inventory or before they resell it. And this is awesome for a couple of reasons. One, it protects those gun sellers from taking in stolen guns. And two, and this is what I'm even more excited about, it's going to be that much more likely to result in stolen guns being identified and then returned to their lawful owner.
Which is a good thing.
Which is a really good thing. And, maybe a gun's been sold 5 times since it was stolen from me. Well, maybe I want that gun back. It was my gun originally. I was the victim of a crime, for instance, and so I'm excited about this, and I think my FFL buddies are going to be excited about it too, because it's another interaction with the government, but in this case, they're able to protect themselves and protect their customers, and that's a good thing.
If somebody has a question, wants to hire you, how can they find you?
Really, on Twitter, man. Give me a follow while you're on there. It's just @GuyRelford on Twitter. I check the messages on there often. It's just @GuyRelford.
Coming up a little bit later on, we'll do a round of Ask the Gun Guy. So if you have questions, you can get your questions through. But right now, caller number 9 at 239-9393. Jason Aldean tickets for Friday up at Ruoff. 239-9393. Caller number 9. You get to go to the show. 239-9393.
Change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, change is all around us. Songs are rewritten, classics are remixed, bands and artists come and go. Even our taste in music changes. Here at Xfinity, we know there's still good in keeping some things the same. That's why we want to do our part with a 5-year price guarantee on our internet. It means no matter what changes, you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with our best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Surprised? Life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at xfinity.com/deals. Restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024.
Hammer here, and Indianapolis ranked number 2 in 2025's hottest housing markets. Home values have risen and are holding pretty strong right now, and now is a great time to sell. And the fact of the matter is, you work hard for your money. You deserve the biggest payout when you're putting your home on the market, and the person you can trust to do that the best is Mark Dietl. Here's an example of what I'm talking about. Mark Dietl is the only real estate expert that we trust and recommend on the Hammer and Nigel show because of the guarantee. Mark Dietl guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. That's right, he will buy it. You pick the move date, no long-term contracts, and you can cancel at any time. He makes it easy, and the guarantee separates him from the competition. Call Mark Dietl today, 317-755-4232, or go to markdietl.com, Mark D-I-E-T-E-L, markdietl.com.
Attention, Indiana homeowners. Are you tired of avoiding your wet basement? Hi, I'm Mike Smith with Swainco Crawl Space and Basement Repair, your real, local, Indiana family-owned experts. Imagine all the possibilities of a guaranteed dry basement, a cozy new family room, a home gym, or even a new office. And with no interest, no payment financing, you don't have to break the bank to do it. Make the most of your basement today. Call Swainco 317-407-1868 or swaincollc.com.
An official message from Medicare.
I turned 65 this year. I knew it was time to figure out Medicare, and I had questions like when to enroll and how to enroll. So I went straight to the official source, Medicare.gov, to get the facts about Medicare. I found answers to all my questions, and I'm ready to get started. And so can you. Just go to Medicare.gov to get the real facts about Medicare.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Puccini's, we think less screen time and more quality mealtime is the better way. Eat, talk, and dine with less blue light glaring or talking heads blaring while enjoying great food at a reasonable price is the Puccini's way. Dine in for hot, delicious food prepared fresh and to your liking. If you need anything, we're right there so you'll leave full and happy. We have delivery options and carryout, but let's start dining in together again the way we all used to enjoy so much.
Puccini's Pizza, Pasta, Puccini's.
Did you know that summer is the #1 season for well issues? It's because summer works your well system harder than any other time of the year, especially if you have an older pump and underperforming pressure tank. Things just wear out more quickly in the summertime. Tanks, pressure switches, and especially pumps. C&J is offering a $100 service call right now so you can catch problems early before you find yourself with no water at the hottest time of the year. Keep your summer parties, plants, and water going strong. C&J, just great people. 317-852-WELL.
Coming up in 2 minutes from the Technology Recycler Studios, what a mayor did. You've got 93 WIBC, and it's now 4 o'clock.
Outrage over oil. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. President Trump says he's substantially increasing tariffs on India, accusing the country of fueling the Russian war machine by buying Russian oil for use in India and to refine and sell in other countries. Meantime, the European Union is suspending planned retaliatory tariffs on American imports.
It comes after a deal between President Trump and EU Commissioner Ursula von der Leyen last month that lowered tariff rates on imports from Europe and opened European markets to more U.S. goods. The deal puts a 15% charge on most imports from Europe, an agreement the EU says restores stability and predictability for citizens and businesses on both sides of the Atlantic.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. In 2 weeks, the State Department plans to launch a program where some foreign tourists have to put up as much as $15,000 for a tourist visa, refundable if they leave on time. It would apply to people from countries with high overstay rates. The world's richest person gets a pay raise.
Tesla's board has approved a compensation package for CEO Elon Musk consisting of 96 million shares valued at nearly $29 billion. Musk's earlier pay packages were struck down by a judge. However, he must serve for 2 years continuously in a senior leadership role to collect it.
Fox's Jenny Casola. A wildfire in central California has grown to more than 100 square miles.
It is just 3% contained. The inferno igniting Friday along a highway, ongoing hot and dry conditions fueling the flames. The cause is under investigation. The U.S. Forest Service revealing at least 3 people have been injured and hundreds of structures are threatened. More than 1,000 firefighters are battling the fire along with air tankers and helicopters. Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
Dozens of Texas House Democrats are threatened with removal from office by Governor Greg Abbott. They've left the stakes to prevent a vote on a new congressional map. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
The Boonville City Mayor charged with leaving the scene of a crash. Cloudy and 82 degrees on Monument Circle. I'm Jake McDaniel. Here's what's trending at 4:02. State police say it happened in mid-May when Mayor Charles Wyatt was at an event at the Veterans of Foreign Wars, which is a veterans organization in Boonville. He backed out of a parking spot, hit another vehicle, and drove off without letting anybody know. The victim was inside their vehicle at the time of the crash. Officers went to the mayor's home and found the damaged truck. No one answered the door when police arrived. Attorneys for the man convicted of killing Abby Williams and Libby German in Delphi back in 2017 have filed a new request.
They want more time to file an appeal. I'm John Herrick. Richard Allen's attorneys say they have filed a motion for an extension because of the complexities of the case. They want the deadline to be extended by 30 days. The deadline is currently August 5th, so if they got their wish, the new deadline would be September 5th. Allen was found guilty of 2 counts of murder and 2 counts of murder while kidnapping in November of 2024. John Herrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
A man was arrested because police say he shot his brother in South Bend last Friday. South Bend police say Donald Simpson II shot his brother at around 11:30. He was then taken to the St. Joseph County Jail and faces several criminal charges. His brother survived the shooting and has non-life-threatening injuries. The band 3 Dog Night is coming to the Brown County Music Center on December the 12th. This is the group that dominated the charts from 1969 to 1974 with more top 10 hits than anyone else. Tickets go on sale this Friday. Fall camp in South Bend is more than preparation. It's about building identity. And as for defensive coordinator Chris Ash, that identity starts with discipline, detail, and playing fast. Here's Len Clark.
Notre Dame's defense is taking shape under first-year coordinator Chris Ash, who says the key to fall camp has been consistency and trust.
We have a play style that we want to play with, and we want to do it consistently day after day after day, and it needs to show up on Saturdays for the games. But I really like where we're at right now.
Ash is leaning on veterans to lead while young talent flashes in every position group. The Irish open the season in Miami on August 31st. Len Clark, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
You've got traffic and weather next. It's 4:04.
When people think sleep apnea, they think CPAP. Now at Advent, we do all we can to help sleep apnea sufferers avoid the CPAP machine. And most sleep apnea sufferers who come to Advent are going to be able to avoid a CPAP altogether. Our unique Advent approach using simple in-office solutions can get your nose working and throat open all under one roof. You see, the root of every snoring and obstructive sleep apnea problem lies within the throat, nose, or both. At Advent, we know when we get the nose and throat working properly, most snoring and sleep apnea problems will subside. And we have the most simple and convenient, ultra-effective in-office solutions that can do just that. And this is why people have traveled by planes, trains, and automobiles from corners of the world you would never think of to find the sleep apnea and snoring relief you won't find elsewhere.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. AdventKnows.com. Most insurance accepted.
You've got WIBC traffic at 4:05 with Mike Priest.
Your first encounter with the brake light south on 65 is from Whitestown Parkway to 86. Then it's crowded most of the way from West Street through the downtown collector to the south split. Northbound is heavy from Raymond to the south split. 70 jammed up eastbound, Harding to the south split. Westbound tightening from Keystone to the north split. East side of 465 slow south from 70 to 74. This report is sponsored by Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield. They've teamed up with the Indiana Fever and Common Threads to provide local schools with information for nutritious meal preparation. Learn more at anthem.com/fever. Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield is the trade name of Anthem Insurance Companies Incorporated. I'm Mike Priest. Follow us on X for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And now the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
We'll track the potential for some isolated showers into our Monday night as lows drop into the mid-60s. Tuesday will feature a continuation of a spotty shower storm chance with a gradual increase in humidity as well. Highs will be near normal for this time of the year as numbers get into the middle 80s. We'll see highs in the middle 80s through Wednesday, with the humidity values being more on the uncomfortable side as well. A spot shower storm cannot be ruled out Wednesday. On Which TV, Storm Track 8 meteorologist Stephen Deanna for 93 WIBC.
I'm Jake McDaniel on the level on the go and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters
are weirdos?
So let's rock it!
It's the Hammer and Nigel show. Nigel is out. He's got anal leakage, which means Guy Relford, the gun guy. He is riding shotgun with us.
Uh-huh. I see what you did there.
Little breaking news here. Attorney General Pam Bondi signing an order for the grand jury in the Russia hoax. So what this means is that the evidence is now going to be taken to the grand jury. The DOJ has ordered the grand jury in the Russia hoax probe. Now, if anybody has delusions of grandeur that Barack Obama's going to jail, that's not going to happen. But if you want to see some people sweat, maybe it's Comey, maybe it's Brennan, maybe it's some folks like that, you could see it here. Now, I've said this before, Guy. My expectations of all these things are very low.
Sure.
Because I'm old enough to remember when big tech got away with censoring everybody. They had hearings, there were subpoenas, there was finger-wagging, hot takes. Nobody went to jail, nothing happened. Hunter laptop thing, okay, fine, nothing happened. COVID, nothing happened. Nobody's going to jail. But we got a grand jury involved here. We'll see what happens.
Well, my leading example is Hillary. I mean, the fact that Hillary was never prosecuted for influence peddling and destruction of evidence, defying a subpoena to destroy, 30,000 emails or some ridiculous
Trump
number.
kind of let her off the hook.
Yeah, and so I'm cynical as well. But this is a brilliant move by the Justice Department and Bondi, because there's two different ways to file a federal criminal complaint or a federal criminal case. The prosecutor's office, what we call the U.S. Attorney's Office, can direct file it and just file the charges. Or they can ask for a grand jury. And a grand jury, as people know, they come in, it's all secret. They come in, they only hear one side of the evidence, but they hear evidence on whether there's probable cause to believe crimes have been committed. And then a jury of our peers, right? These are people off the street who get selected to be on a grand jury. They come back and they either issue an indictment, which means someone's now been indicted for a crime and they're being prosecuted, or what they call a no bill, which is no, we don't think there's probable cause. But this takes the politics out of it to some degree. You still have to ask for the grand jury, which is what Pam Bondi just did. But these are going to be people off the street that are going to hear evidence, and that greatly reduces, doesn't exclude, doesn't eliminate, but it greatly reduces the claim that this is all about politics and retaliation by the Trump administration, because a grand jury is going to hear evidence and either return an indictment or not.
There's a scene in the movie Revenge of the Nerds where the head of the Lambda fraternity, a big dude by the name of UN Jefferson, he's like, I'm glad to see you nerds finally fought back.
Yeah.
And this is kind of where I'm at with this kind of stuff. Trump's been indicted how many times? How many grand juries were put together to deal with him over ridiculous crap? And whether this is something or not, I don't know if there's any there. Certainly seems like there is. I don't expect anything to happen, but make him sweat a little bit.
Well, exactly.
Let old Brennan, egg fart face smelling Brennan, deal with some of this stuff.
Well, yeah, and listen, Obama probably has immunity because of the Supreme Court win that Trump got, saying that for official acts, things you do as part of being president, you have immunity from any criminal prosecution. And Trump even said the other day, yeah, Obama's probably immune under the win that I got as Trump in the Supreme Court. But a whole lot of these other people underneath him, including people in the Justice Department, the FBI in particular, the intelligence communities who lied and falsified documents and falsified information they sent to the court so as to issue subpoenas. That's huge. That's huge. And I'd like to see a lot of those people go to prison. I'm cynical. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but a grand jury is a great first step.
Guy Relford in for Nigel today. So ICE, the organization, they are on a big hiring bonanza now. They got the big, beautiful bill passed through, so they got some more funding. ICE is hiring agents, and you could get a $50,000 sign-on bonus or up to $60,000 in student aid, student loans, if you decide to sign on and become an ICE agent, Guy. Now, I was looking at some of the salaries of what ICE agents make. It's anywhere between around $49,700 if you're somebody with zero experience, and if you have some experience, around $89,000. These are the numbers that I'm seeing on various places on the media outlets here, between $49,700 and $89,500. You add an extra $50K on there as a signing bonus. Look, I know that's a tough job, and morons are going to throw rocks at you, and they're going to try to dox you depending on where you live, but that's some good money.
It is some good money, and I'm thrilled to see it. These folks need our additional support, and I love the idea of offering these incentives to get more qualified and experienced people in there, and for a couple of reasons. One, because ICE has a bigger job than they did before, right? Under the big, beautiful bill and the funding they've gotten and the direction that President Trump has given the organization, they have a big job dealing with literally tens of millions of people that are in this country illegally. And separately is the point you just made, Jason, which is that, these people are taking a lot of heat. They're getting attacked in their vehicles. You're having things thrown at them. You're having random shots taken at them. It's not a job that anybody is going to take lightly just because of the amount of animosity, hostility, and even violence that's out there being directed at them. So to offer these additional incentives, get more people, better people, more experienced people, I'm all about it.
Producer Allison, please bring on the Attorney General of the state of Indiana to kick off this next segment.
Legal stuff.
Crime, punishment, judges.
Legal stuff.
Legal stuff.
Thank you, Todd Rokita. Dateline, New Jersey. A guy in New Jersey attacked 2 deli workers with a box cutter because he was still angry about a wrong sandwich order from 4 years ago. He's been stewing on this for 4 years and decided to finally get vengeance. Here is a friend of the victims talking about the attacker.
Every time they make him happy, he looking for another problem. He just looking for problem. He's like nuts, crazy. He say he's allergic with the eggplant, and he told him, you give me that eggplant in my sandwich, and my stomach was bothering me and stuff like that. Why you finish the sandwich? Why you come back like 4 years later asking for like why?
Guy, as an attorney, I think you know this better than anybody. People are nuts. People are nuts.
I mean, being so mad about a wrong sandwich order.
Right.
You know what? I mean, I hate the next McDonald's worker has to tell a person the ice cream machine's still broken down, right? You know, and by the way, nobody should minimize the seriousness of this because there was a box cutter involved. I mean, 9/11 was committed with box cutters. You can get very seriously hurt or killed with a box cutter. That's aggravated assault is what we would call that here in Indiana, and you can do some serious time, and this moron certainly should.
More legal stuff here. So this dude was in his backyard back in 2017, and he was naked. He has a privacy fence. He was in his backyard. He was naked, but the Google Street View car came driving down the street, and I guess it had the ability to take pictures above his fence. So whenever his property was shown on like Google Maps, this guy was seen bare-assed in his backyard, and it got shared all over his neighborhood. He was humiliated. He filed a lawsuit, guy, and a court ordered Google to pay this guy $12,500 because they posted a photo of his house with his bare ass on it.
$12,500 doesn't seem like a big award.
See, that's what I was thinking,
that
too.
seems light to me. And listen, the question becomes, from a legal perspective, do you have an expectation of privacy being in your backyard behind your privacy fence? Well, of course. That's why you put the damn fence up. And, you know, assuming you're not taller than 6.5 feet, which is what his privacy fence was, you don't expect anybody to be able to see you, period, much less have it be published on the internet for all to see. And you know something like that's going to circulate. Hell, people might even talk about it on the radio, and then folks go looking for it. So
you could have got him more than that, right? You would have got a bigger payment,
yeah,
right?
I mean, that's not the kind of stuff I handle, but I would certainly like to think that 12.5. Heck no. I would have looked up what some major porn stars were making for you know, and offered some comparisons there. But no, I think he's got a legitimate complaint. Now, if there's an airplane flying over or whatever, you don't have that expectation of privacy. But the Street View car for Google Maps, no, hell no, they shouldn't have been able to see the guy.
In honor of the guy that had his butt shown on Google Maps in his backyard, here's a little tribute from Hammer and Nigel Records.
$12,000 settlement for my butt on the TV. Now I'm getting slack for showing my crack in the breeze for all to see. Viral on the internet. Now Google helps me pay rent. Google showed my butt walking around my backyard.
There it is.
Beautiful.
$12,000. Kind of thought he'd get more. Mike Priest is filling in for Matt Bear today.
And that's why I always put on a Speedo before I start my weed whacking. 65
It's the classy
southbound.
thing to do, Mike.
It is. It is. You know what? The neighborhood appreciates it. 65 southbound. It is loaded up now. Whitestown Parkway to past 86th. We've got a crash. It's taking out the left lane. Then slow most of the way from West Street through the downtown collector to the south split. Northbound, you're jammed Raymond to the south split. And heavy stuff going east on 70. Harding to the south split. This report is sponsored by Great Lakes Honda of Fishers. Honda of Fishers is now Great Lakes Honda of Fishers. Under new ownership, visit them just off State Road 37 for special grand opening prices during their summer sales event. Great Lakes Honda of Fishers. I'm Mike Priest. Follow us on X for instant traffic updates and no backyard nudes at WIBC Traffic.
I don't believe you. 80 degrees at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center. Coming up next, we'll play a fun round of Is This Anything? But right now, we need you. We need your help. We need about 52 people to go to the WIBC YouTube feed and give us a like, give us a thumbs up. Don't do it for me. Even though I work through my illnesses, I come to work and you can count on me. Do it because Guy Relford looks damn good on the camera. That's what we're doing. Or if that's not enough for you, do it because we all have somebody at our work that's probably a little bit younger that gets on your nerves and they just won't shut up. That's the digital department to us. They keep telling us, you got to have 100 likes. Keep pushing it. 100 likes on the YouTube stream. All right, fine. If you've ever wanted somebody just to leave you the hell alone, and you know what we go through here, give us a charity thumbs up on that WIBC YouTube chat. Live chat, live cameras. Guy Relford looks like $1 million damn bucks. Get there right now.
I will never forget the day we found out my brother needed a heart transplant. Sure, you hear about people needing an organ sometimes, but it doesn't feel real until you're the one waiting. I tell you, we're just thankful. God answered our prayers. But my brother wouldn't be alive today without that transplant. That's why I signed up to be an organ donor at the BMV, because I want to be the answer to someone else's prayers.
Sign up to be an organ donor. Say yes the next time you're at the BMV.
It's time. You've been putting off that kitchen or bath remodel long enough. What are you waiting for? Get started today with Boer Remodeling. Boer Remodeling customer Kathy had a bath remodel with Boer. Kathy, talk a little bit about your experience.
Our experience with Boer has been terrific. The process was so easy and seamless. When we decided to do a larger remodel of our first floor, Boer was the first company we thought of hiring.
And were you happy with the results?
The results are amazing, and we are so happy with our home and the work that Boer did.
Peter is another recent Boer Remodeling customer with a new kitchen. Peter, what was the best part about working with Boer?
We especially liked the active participation that we were able to have in selection of stone for the countertops. Really came out beautiful. The cabinets also came out very, very well.
The best materials, the most skilled craftsmen in Central Indiana. They'll guide you through the entire process. Start with a free consultation. Talk to Boer Remodeling today. That's BOOHER, BoerRemodeling.com.
An official message from Medicare.
I turned 65 this year. I knew it was time to figure out Medicare, and I had questions, like when to enroll and how to enroll. So I went straight to the official source, Medicare.gov, to get the facts about Medicare. I found answers to all my questions, and I'm ready to get started. And so can you. Just go to Medicare.gov to get the real facts about Medicare.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Potential cannot be measured, and it can't be taken away from you either. You never know how strong you are, how capable, and how amazing you really are until you face a challenge. Our Franciscan Health orthopedic teams guide the steps you take to overcome life's hurdles. Be ready for the high fives, the constant encouragement and care plans designed for only you that help you realize your extraordinary potential. Learn more at franciscanhealth.org/orthocare.
My mom just found the best place ever, Wilson's Farm Market. They've got the best ice cream, in tons of flavors like butter pecan, orange pineapple, but my favorite is the old-fashioned vanilla. And the candy? Whoa. There's a whole wall of it. Gummies, chocolates, giant jawbreakers, even old-school stuff my grandma loves. It's like a candy wonderland. And they let me pick out my own bag? Yes! Wilson's is just 20 minutes north of Carmel. Tell your crew it's time for a sweet road trip. Wilson Farm Market, you gotta go!
Hammer and Nigel presents
It depends upon what the meaning of the word is.
Is this anything?
All right, let's rock and roll.
Is This Anything? Brought to you by Indiana Unclaimed, a program brought to you by the Attorney General's office here in Indiana, reuniting Hoosiers with over $1 million in unclaimed property and money and all things every single week. Guy, you just found some money.
Oh, man, I'm a big, happy customer of Indiana Unclaimed. and I'm glad our Attorney General had that set up. I got a check a couple weeks ago for over $2,500.
What was the money? What was it from?
It was primarily from one bank account I apparently opened like when I was a kid. I was cutting grass or shoveling snow or doing whatever kids do to earn money, and there was like $100 that sat in this thing for 60 years or something, and pretty close to that, and it generated a lot of interest over a whole lot of years.
I love hearing stories like this. Log on and see if you have any money.
It's easy to do.
IndianaUnclaimed.gov. Guy, is this anything? Last night at the WWE SummerSlam event in New Jersey, the professional wrestling event, Pacer star Tyrese Halliburton was sitting ringside. His foot was in a brace, and he had crutches. He's had the Achilles surgery, but he was still ringside last night. And at one point, wrestler John Cena grabbed one of Halliburton's crutches and started beating the crap out of Cody Rhodes with it.
That's Tyrese Halliburton of the Indiana Pacers. And now taking a crutch from Tyrese. Tyrese, of course, out after an Achilles surgery. And now John Cena using the crutch. Again, perfectly legal tonight. Anything goes for the championship.
Halliburton, a big wrestling guy, he was sitting ringside, and Cena takes his crutch and uses it as a weapon. Is this anything?
Well, I think it's something. One, I like John Cena, and I'm not a big wrestling fan, but hey, if you're into WWE and if something like this breaks out, with somebody getting beat by a crutch, especially an all-star player's crutch who's ringside, yeah, that's fun. That's gonna be fun for wrestling fans. One of the reasons people go, one of the reasons people watch, and hey, we had one of the original SummerSlams right here in Indiana. That was a huge event that people still talk about here in terms of Indiana sports history.
And this event was in New Jersey, which is right across the river from New York. So when they showed Tyrese Halliburton on the Jumbotron, all the New York Knicks fans.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it was so good. Keeping it in the sports world, is this anything? ESPN and the NFL have agreed to a big blockbuster deal that will result in a lot of top properties, including NFL Network and NFL Red Zone being purchased by ESPN. And we're hearing that NFL Red Zone might be moving to ESPN. Is this anything?
It is something, and it's nothing good. Just because I'm very, very cynical. In fact, I've really lost a lot of faith in ESPN over the year. I mean, among sports broadcasters, they've led the way on the whole woke agenda. ESPN's been worse than any of them, and some of their commentators, I think, are just cheerleaders for the woke movement, and they've worked way too many politics into sports coverage. I think America's getting really, really, really tired of that, as we're seeing on a number of fronts, including the whole Sydney Sweeney fiasco. I don't think it's fiasco. It's a brilliant, brilliant move. But that whole phenomenon, and I worry that ESPN hasn't learned its lessons, and we're just going to see more of that tied in with NFL broadcasting, given this deal.
It's perfect. The Red Zone. 7 hours of commercial-free football hosted by Scott Hansen.
Yeah.
No commercials, no breaks, none of that stuff. It is as perfect as you can get it. There's no doubt in my mind ESPN's going to screw this up.
There's no doubt in my mind. Again, as it is, it's fabulous right now, and it's worth that subscription. But I don't trust ESPN, and I'm very negative on ESPN. I have been for going on 10 years now.
I saw somebody put on Twitter, if you remove Scott Hansen and replace him with Stephen A. Smith, we're going to make January 6th look like kindergarten.
Yeah. I'll never forgive ESPN. You talk about Knicks Pacers, basically having Stephen A. Smith run a pep rally for the Knicks.
Right.
Last playoff run, not this year. That was the most despicable thing in sports broadcasting I've seen, and ESPN and Stephen A. Smith ought to still be condemned for that.
It was payback this year when Reggie got to do the games on TNT. It was payback.
Beautiful. That was beautiful.
Last one. Is this anything? Somebody got caught stealing the Smokey the Bear sign from state parks in Florida. Now, they had like a mascot guy there, somebody in like a smoky suit. He was there on hand and caught like the person trying to steal like the signs, and called the authorities, and this person was arrested and cuffed. Charges are still pending. Here's the agriculture commissioner talking about the arrest.
Smokey is always around our forests, and just like you got lucky today that he saw the bad guy and got him in cuffs. Who goes and steals an image of Smokey Bear and then tries to profit off of that? If you're going to go in and commit crimes in our forest, you probably need to find a different place. Not only will you find Smokey in some of those forests, but you'll find our Carl officers. We're the most pro-law enforcement state of the union. Smokey Bear is on the job also.
That anything?
Well, I don't know that it's so much that Smokey was there himself. I think that's kind of fitting. Kind of sounds like justice to me. Hey, that's my sign, bro. But you know, the fact that some knucklehead would want to steal those signs. I mean, what are those signs there for? Like, only you can prevent forest fires, right?
Right.
Which is obviously a huge issue in many, many parts of this country, and we've seen devastation from forest fires. Anything that just might be a little subtle reminder to head off one of those. What kind of idiot would want to go steal that and try to sell it on eBay or something? It's a ridiculous move. I'm glad he was caught, and I'm glad Smokey himself was there to get a little personal justice.
I remember a conversation I had with a kid from Canada, because I coached travel baseball for a long time. We had this one tournament, and we were waiting to play. So we're just kind of chatting with the kids from Canada that had a team there. I think they were from Toronto. Wasn't like they were up in the middle of the sticks or anything. But I don't know how we got to talking about the Great Smoky Mountains and Gatlinburg, and I brought up Smokey the Bear. And this kid from Canada looked at me like I was a total moron. Why do you need a mascot to tell you not to set fire to the forest? And I wish I had a better answer for him. And I just said, I don't know. I don't know. You're right.
You regulate to the lowest common denominator. That's the bottom line.
Galaxy Concrete Coatings worked a miracle with my garage. My new Galaxy Concrete garage floor coating is out of this world. And if you're thinking about using epoxy, don't. That's like the old stuff the other guys use. That's the old standard. What Galaxy uses is better. It's polyurea. It's the new premium standard for coatings. They did it in less than a day. 4 times as strong. Plenty of styles and colors to choose from. Check out their website to see pictures and get a quote, galaxyconcretecoatings.com, or give them a call, 751-9070.
Ain't nothing gonna break my stride. Nobody gonna slow me down.
Don't let pneumococcal pneumonia break your stride. If you're 50 or older, you're at increased risk. So be proactive with Capvaxive pneumococcal 21-valent conjugate vaccine to help protect against invasive pneumococcal disease and pneumonia caused by certain types of pneumococcal bacteria. Capvaxive helps protect against the strains of bacteria that cause about 30% more IPD cases than any other pneumococcal conjugate vaccine in adults over 50, according to national-level CDC stats. Regional variations may exist. Don't get Capvaxive if you're allergic to the vaccine or its ingredients. Tell your doctor if you have a weakened immune system. Common side effects include injection site reactions, feeling tired, headache, muscle aches, and fever. Capvaxive does not protect against all strains. For more information, call 1-800-927-8888 or visit capvaxive.com. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Capvaxive. Need help paying for your Merck vaccine? Visit merckhelps.com. Sponsored by Merck.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
What happens there now? Cloudy and 83 degrees in downtown Indy. The low tonight, 64. I'm Jake McDaniel. Here's what's trending at 4:32. During a humanitarian pause in the fighting between Israel and Hamas, aid continues to flow into Gaza, where there are growing concerns of a widespread. In a video on social media, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu pushed back against claims that Israel is blocking aid, saying that Hamas militants are taking it all for themselves.
In the last few months, that food has not been reaching the Palestinian civilians because Hamas is stealing it.
Last week, President Donald Trump sent Middle East envoys Steve Witkoff and Ambassador Mike Huckabee to a region to survey the situation. Netanyahu says he has also invited allies to airdrop aid into Gaza. The United Nations says more than 100 people died from malnutrition since the start of the war. A deadline set by Texas Governor Greg Abbott for House Democrats to return has passed, and they are still a no-show. The Democrats went to Illinois to prevent Republicans from passing new voting maps that they say could hurt voters of color and give the GOP an advantage to reach the 2026 election. Without the Democrats there, the House can't reach the number of lawmakers needed to vote on legislation. that the process, Governor Abbott has threatened to have them arrested when they return. Terre Haute Mayor Brandon Sackman says bright days are ahead for his city. John Herrick explains.
Sackman says public-private partnerships have helped bring more opportunities to Terre Haute.
We're doing a lot of planning, right? We recognize there's utility constraints in the Hoosier State, and we're going to find an answer to that because we want employers, businesses, commercial developments to know that we are capable from a utility standpoint.
He tells Inside Indiana Business that the city is working together with higher education institutions like Indiana State University and Rose-Hulman Institute of Technology better than ever before to help brighten the lives of college students. John Herrick, 93, WIBC Mobile News.
It's time for your WIBC Closing Bell Report. At the closing bell today, the Dow Jones Industrial Average was up 585 points to 44,173. The S&P 500 rose 91 points to 6,329. And the NASDAQ had a 403-point increase to 21,053. You are now 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It is 4:34.
By now, you've heard about IndianaUnclaimed.gov. It's a way to claim your unclaimed property from the Indiana Attorney General's Unclaimed Property Division. It's not a scam. It's not houses, boats, cars, or storage facilities. It isn't free money. So what exactly is it? It's your money. It belongs to you, and it's waiting for you to claim it. It's money from unclaimed wages or commissions, forgotten bank accounts, underlying shares, refunds, insurance proceeds, stock dividends, safe deposit box contents, overpayments, certificates of deposit, money orders, and more. The Indiana Attorney General's Unclaimed Property Division safeguards those funds while trying to locate and return those funds to the owner or heir. It's your money, you deserve it, and the Attorney General's office wants to make sure you get it. The Attorney General's Unclaimed Property Division has over $800 million just waiting to be claimed. Text Hammer and Nigel to 46220. That's Hammer and Nigel to 46220. Or visit IndianaUnclaimed.gov to claim yours today.
With WIBC traffic at 4:35, here's Mike Priest.
Through Boone County going south on 65, it is packed past State Road 267 to past 86th Street where a crash continues to block the left lane. It takes over 40 minutes to get through that delay. Further south, you're jammed up most of the way from West Street to the South Split, and then it continues slow south to Keystone. Northbound, heavy stuff from Raymond to the South Split. This report is sponsored by Drexel Interiors. Drexel Interiors, the place to go for upgrading your kitchen, bath, or flooring. Schedule your free design consultation at DrexelIN.com. Visit DrexelIN.com for your free interior design or visit their showrooms today. I'm Mike Priest. Follow us on X for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And now the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
We'll track the potential for some isolated showers into our Monday night as lows drop into the mid-60s. Tuesday will feature a continuation of a spotty shower storm chance with a gradual increase in humidity as well. Highs will be near normal for this time of the year as numbers get into the middle 80s. We'll see highs in the middle 80s through Wednesday. A spot shower storm cannot be ruled out. On Which TV, Storm Track 8 meteorologist Stephen Deanna for 93 WIBC.
I'm Jake McDaniel on the level on the go and on WIBC.com.
An official message from Medicare.
I'm saving money on my Medicare prescriptions. Maybe you can save too. With Medicare's Extra Help program, my premium is zero and my out-of-pocket costs are low. Who should apply? Single people making less than $24,000 a year or married couples who make less than $32,000. Even if you don't think you qualify, it pays to find out.
Go to ssa.gov/extrahelp. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Luxury awaits you at Tom Roush Lincoln & Fishers. Come see the full line of breathtaking Lincoln vehicles at Indiana's premier Lincoln dealership. From the moment you arrive at Tom Roush Lincoln, you'll know you've arrived. Shop over 200 new Lincolns in our state-of-the-art family-owned and operated dealership with no pressure. Just the award-winning service and respect you deserve. Plus, with any new Lincoln, your first 5 oil changes are on us. Luxury awaits you at Tom Roush Lincoln & Fishers.
First 5 oil changes complimentary with any new Lincoln purchase or lease. See dealer for complete details.
You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Coming up here in just about an hour, a little less, we'll fire up a round of Ask the Gun Guy, which is fancy talk for making the best 2A attorney in all of America work for free. Guy Relford's in for Nigel. I'm Hammer. All right, Guy, I'm going to give you two different Trump headlines. You tell me which one interests you more, okay? Donald Trump to substantially hike up tariffs on India because he's accusing them of fueling the Russian war machine. Donald Trump basically accusing India of buying Russian oil and reselling it for profit on the open market. So he's looking to put some big-time tariffs on India. Or something that he put on Truth Social over the weekend, his goal is to have so much money in tariffs that if you make less than $200,000 a year, you don't pay taxes. It'll be tariff money that takes care of it. So which one of these has your interest more than the other?
Well, the announcement from Trump that he wants to potentially replace income taxes for a substantial part of the population with tariffs definitely has more interest for me, because that could dramatically change the financial picture for an awful lot of people in this country to pay no income taxes. That's huge. However, I don't think it has any feasibility of actually happening whatsoever, right? because of the way Trump uses tariffs. He tends to say, look, country, whatever it is, we're talking about India or whatever other country, Mexico, you name it, you're charging too much in tariffs to us to import our goods into your country. So we're going to impose a huge tariff on you until you renegotiate the tariff, which country after country after country has done. So these really high tariffs, where he's dramatically increasing the tariff income for the United States, even to the point potentially of replacing income taxes, only happens until the country caves, charges us less tariffs, then we drop their high tariff, and everybody goes back to doing business. I think that's what's going to happen into the future with countries that we're still negotiating with, India included.
And look, this is probably unpopular with a lot of people, but don't do the rebate thing either. Like sending everybody checks. Look at all this tariff money we have. We're going to give it back to you. No, pay off the debt. Isn't that the whole point behind this kind of stuff? Like, nobody likes to pay their bills. We all like to go out and spend and do things. Trust me, I'm the same way. But come on, man. If I'm in big-time credit card debt, I probably shouldn't be going out to Vegas and spending money. That's the equivalent of these stimulus checks from the tariffs, right? You want to show the American people, look at the foreign people spending money on America. But the whole reason we're doing this kind of stuff, the reason there was supposed to be a Doge, the reason to do all this kind of stuff is that we're in a bad place economically in terms of debt.
That's actually the bigger point, Jason. I'm really glad you made it, because hearing that, I couldn't possibly agree more. And that's been one of the places, for all the wins, quote unquote, that President Trump has had, especially this term so far, that we celebrate, and we should. The deficit going in the wrong direction has been a huge fail, and this is a potential opportunity that I think we could use to pay down that deficit. I agree with you 100%. That's the much bigger story here.
So while Donald Trump is dealing with all that right now, the Democrats, they haven't learned any lessons, Guy. They're still doing the exact same things that had their asses handed to them in the last election, right? They didn't learn anything. Like, what's great about the Dems right now is they can call Donald Trump crazy all they want. But look at the people that have hijacked their party. People like Representative Jasmine Crockett. Here she is at a big event over the weekend. She's calling Donald Trump a piece of blank, and she's ripping the Supreme Court. This takes away any sort of credibility the Democrats have if they want to criticize Trump for being a little on the crazy side.
Number one, this Supreme Court is corrupt. So
how?
So again, serving on the Judiciary Committee, there are bills that we have put into place. We need to have some real guardrails around this Supreme Court.
Unconstitutional
because the
bills.
Supreme Court has paved the way for half the stuff that we see that's going on. Listen, Donald Trump is a piece of okay, we know that. Yes, he is. But in a functioning democracy, he still would not be able to get away with this.
That's an elected official, Guy. That's somebody that gets paid by this country. And she sounds like a Temu Cardi B.
Yeah. I mean, anytime the Democrats ever talk about any Republican, Donald Trump included, as being off his rocker, not all there, a little crazy or a lot crazy, all Republicans need to do is put Jasmine Crockett up, and boom, you've just won the debate.
Right. Absolutely right. The lunatics have hijacked the left. Like, you might not like Donald Trump's policies. You might not like the MAGA movement, whatever you want to call it. But there are policies there. It's about America first. It's about fixing the border. What do the Democrats stand for right now other than Orange Man bad? And the people that are the faces of their parties, all they want to do is go to court and crap on Donald Trump. That's it. Whether it's Jasmine Crockett, whether it's AOC, whether it's Adam Schiff, Gavin Newsom, they haven't learned a single thing since being depantsed in the last election.
Well, exactly right. And you would think that Republicans would be able to play on that and take advantage of that, actually to even a greater degree than they already have, because that's exactly where the Democrats are so weak, because they keep electing these wackos. They keep doing it across the board. And that ought to be their downfall.
Dateline, Georgia. Former Tennessee Volunteers football coach Derek Dooley now jumping into the political arena, launching a bid to become a senator in his home state of Georgia. 57-year-old set to run as a Republican will face off against fellow party Republicans, Buddy Carter and Mike Collins, as the GOP looks to take back not one but two Democrat-held seats in the Senate. Now, they thought the governor, Brian Kemp, was going to run for the Senate, but he backed out kind of unexpectedly. And now Kemp is backing Derek Dooley here. I got to be honest with you. I've seen Derek Dooley's act in the state of Georgia. I think he's about to go 0-4 in that state, guy. This was not a guy that inspires people to like run through a brick wall. He's very mild-mannered. He's very milquetoast, but he's jumping in the political realm. Georgia's a little interesting because it used to be a hard red outside of pockets of Atlanta and some other places. Hard red, but the Republicans have had a hard time in Georgia last 3-4 elections.
Yeah, and you're going to know this better than me, Jason, but didn't he fizzle as the Tennessee coach after like 2 seasons?
Oh, it's awful.
I mean, and so it's not like he has this national reputation of a great leader, or, someone who's, inspirational to the troops, to the citizens, or whoever it might be. And so I don't know that he has the kind of reputation and popularity that arises out of being an SEC football coach that an awful lot of other people over the years probably have had. So if that's not what allows him to cruise in an election, what does? I don't know that there's anything you can point to.
When he was the head coach of the Vols, Coach Dooley was known as Coach Fooley. That's all you need to know about him, man. It's the Hammer and Nigel show.
Hey guys, it's Rob for Universal Windows Direct. Look, we've all been feeling the heat. And that's why this is the perfect time to make that call to Universal Windows Direct so they can help you stay cool in your home throughout the rest of the summer and warm in your home all winter long. And this is the perfect time to call because what an incredible deal going on with Universal Windows Direct. Right now, for every 2 windows you buy, you're going to get the next 2 free. There's no limit. Got 8 windows that need replacing? You only pay for 4. It's that simple. And here's the part I really love. You'll get no interest for 5 whole years. That's right, 60 months of 0 interest financing, which makes upgrading your home not just smart, but affordable too. Now, some restrictions may apply, so to get all the information and most importantly, schedule a totally free, no hassle, no obligation in-home estimate, call Universal Windows Direct today, 317-659-7574, 317-659-7574. Check them out on the web, universalwindowsdirect.com. Tell them Rob sent you.
Oh, man, I think it'd be super cool to go to Symphony on the Prairie and check out Tusk, which is the Fleetwood Mac tribute band. And if you're a AAA member, you get big savings on those summer night concerts. 20% off tickets to any show. AAA saving you money on outdoor music and vacations.
Going to Symphony on the Prairie, always fun. Same with going on vacation. And AAA members, you save when you have a AAA membership. You get vacation discounts, hotels, rental cars, and even complimentary travel planning.
Plus, if you run into trouble out on the road, AAA has you covered. Flat tire, dead battery, lock your keys in the car, whatever. AAA is there 24/7, 365, no matter where your travels take you. So do yourself a favor. Join AAA today or buy somebody you love a membership. Visit AAA.com or give them a call at 844-GO, AAA GO, or stop by any AAA office.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter? Right? And the best part? They accept Discover. Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer.
Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times.
Right, so we shouldn't get the parachute pants?
These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2025 Nielsen report.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu. My Computer Career, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Since 1983, over 80,000 customers have trusted their home to B-Window.
We're now employee-owned, and that means we treat your home like it's our own.
From energy-efficient windows that can cut your energy costs by up to 50%.
To stylish doors, siding, and custom bathroom models, we have you covered.
And every project is backed by our industry-leading warranty.
Call today or go to bwindow.com and receive up to 50% off plus a free patio door.
Because at
B-Window,
we mean business.
Drexel Interiors, the place to go for upgrading your kitchen, bath, or flooring. Schedule your free design consultation at drexelin.com or visit their showrooms today. Go where the pros go.
Busy day? No problem. The WIBC Mashup podcast catches you up with standout moments from your favorite shows. Fresh episodes every weekday. One click, all the good stuff. Get your daily fix. Search WIBC Mashup wherever you get your podcasts.
Matt Bear is out. Mike Priest is in.
Getting a little better south on 65, but still heavy from State Road 267 to 86th after an earlier crash. Then you're jammed up most of the way from West Street through the downtown collector to the other side of it at Raymond. On 70 eastbound, a slow go from West Street into the South Split, and then out of downtown, you have more brake lights running to Keystone. This report is sponsored by Drexel Interiors. Drexel Interiors, the place to go for upgrading your kitchen, bath, or flooring. Schedule your free design consultation at drexelin.com. Visit drexelin.com for your free interior design, or visit their showrooms today. I'm Mike Priest. Follow us on X for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Cloudy skies, 80 degrees at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center at 93 WIBC.
The Hammer and Nigel Show.
Do you suppose we'll meet any wild animals?
Hey, baby, let's go out there like a bunch of crazy dogs. Have some fun.
The dingo ate your baby.
And now Hammer and Nigel proudly presents.
Damn, nature, you scary.
Lions.
And tigers. And bears.
Oh, my.
Dateline Canada. A man in Canada suffered non-life-threatening injuries, but injuries substantial enough to where he had to go get a doctor treat him because he had to fight off a cougar while he was on a trail. British Columbia man was out taking a stroll on the province's northern interior last weekend, and a big cougar jumps out. And to his credit, he punched the cougar in the face, guy. He fought the cougar off. This happened around 11 o'clock a.m. on Saturday. And the guy was walking around Lake Catherine when the animal approached him and swiped at his upper body, made contact. So the guy told officers that he ended up getting into a fight and punching the cougar in the face until the animal disengaged. Now, I didn't know what the protocol was here, but wildlife safety groups are saying that if you are attacked by a cougar, always fight back. Don't play dead. Cougar's not a bear. You're supposed to fight a cougar back and punch it in the face, guy.
Yeah, I responded to a survey on social media the other day, and it said if you had to be chased by any animal, you can pick any one for like 24 straight hours, what would you pick? And I said a cougar, preferably in high heels and a few too many chocolate martinis. But in all seriousness, this is another reason why a lot of us carry a handgun everywhere we go, because an actual cougar is about the size of a man. A typical cougar is about 120 to 220 pounds. Okay, so it's not a huge animal compared to, a grizzly bear or something else. Handgun, very effective against a cougar. The noise is probably going to scare them as well. But to your point here, this guy obviously didn't have that option. So what did he do? He manned up, he fought it, punched it, did what he needed to do, and had some superficial injuries, nothing life-threatening. That's because he stood up and fought. So I applaud this guy all day long.
Great moments in cougar history. The movie Talladega Nights, where Ricky Bobby's pot-dealing daddy put the cougar in the car.
Get in the car.
What the hell? It's a goddamn cougar in the car.
Oh, there's a cougar in the car. I put it in there. You got to learn to drive with the fear. And there ain't nothing more goddamn frightening than driving with a live cougar in the car.
Okay, here we go. I'm getting in.
Ricky, control your heart rate.
Oh, my God!
Great moments in cougar history. This guy was streaming on YouTube. I think he was like riding a bike, and he was stalked by a cougar during his bike ride or run. Might have been a run, but he was streaming live.
No! Go! No! Go away! Please go away! You're good. What's up, dude? Dude, you're scary. No! No! You're not getting me, dude. Wow. Yeah, not going back that way.
Now let's hear what that would sound like if that were the exact same guy being stalked by a cougar that would hang out around Guy Relford's office in Carmel.
Hey, young stud, how'd you like to come hang out with an older woman?
No, go away! Go away!
You can come on back to my place and I'll show you a real good time.
No!
Oh, come on, handsome. I won't bite.
No! Yeah, get away from me.
Top stories next.
Citizens, since we each upgraded to Xfinity in our homes, the Wi-Fi has been booming. It's fair to say our town has officially become a boomtown.
Mayor, will I be able to drop into multiplayer gaming battles with low lag?
The lag won't be an issue, but your questionable skills may be.
And what if I have hundreds of devices on the Wi-Fi? Purely hypothetical.
Seems like a lot, but sure, hundreds of devices all booming together with the Xfinity Gateway. Yes, friends and neighbors, with Xfinity, the Wi-Fi is booming.
The Wi-Fi isn't the only thing that's booming. Now get the most reliable Wi-Fi and our best-in-class equipment for one consistent price for 5 years guaranteed. All in. Plus, get unlimited data included and no annual contract. All with the 5-year price guarantee from Xfinity. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. New residential customers only. Select plans only. Xfinity Gateway with XFi Complete required for unlimited data except in certain areas. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024. Actual speeds vary. Indianapolis was built for speed, electricity, and nonstop action. So was Live Golf. So where better to crown a new individual champion? Leading the pack, Rahm, DeChambeau, and Neiman. But only one can be the victor. So be at Chatham Hills August 15th to 17th as Live Golf gets even louder. With a doubleheader concert from Riley Green and Jason Derulo. Tickets are already flying out of the gate. Hurry and grab yours now at livegolf.com.
So, where's the lake?
Not here.
But it says Great Lakes Honda Fishers.
Right. I just don't see a lake.
Who needs a lake when you can lease a 2025 HRV LX all-wheel drive for $329 a month and 0 down?
That definitely won't soak our bank account.
Oh, it's the old Honda Fishers.
Great Lakes, great people, great cars.
But no actual lake.
Visit us off State Road 37 for special pricing during our summer sales event. With approved credit through Honda Financial. In-stock new Hondas only. Not combinable with other offers. All fees due at signing. Loyalty or conquest rebates may apply. Offer ends August 31st. See dealer for details.
This is the soundtrack of summer.
And new memories are waiting at your Indiana State Fair.
Your Indiana State Fair is closed today. Fair Fun returns with $2 Tuesday presented by Indiana Secretary of State. $2 rides, $2 food, and $2 admission. It's the greatest deal of the summer. Plan your trip at IndianaStateFair.com.
Sounds like fun. Your Indiana State Fair, presented by Get Prepared Indiana.
Let's go!
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
I was struggling to maintain contact with the professional world.
Dr. Ferner of Indianapolis talks about why he got the new caption phone from Relay Indiana.
When I got the phone, it turned it around.
Go to RelayIndiana.com. That's RelayIndiana.com. And read up on the caption phone.
People that I talk with do not necessarily know that I have this service. It's a piece of cake.
Go to RelayIndiana.com to learn more.
Stay on your home court with Franciscan Health's top-rated cardiac heart care. No traveling, no waiting. Just award-winning heart care right where you live. Rated #1 in Indiana 2 years in a row for cardiology and cardiac care by Health Grades, Franciscan Health offers first-in-the-world treatments, cutting-edge technology, and unmatched compassion. Because we believe every heartbeat is extraordinary. Don't sit on the sidelines with heart trouble. Schedule a same-day cardiology appointment today at franciscanhealth.org/heartcare.
Coming up in 2 minutes from the Technology Recycler Studios, what a woman is facing. You are listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis, and it is now 5 o'clock.
Prosecuting Russiagate. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. Fox confirms Attorney General Pam Bondi orders a criminal grand jury to look into claims of an illegal conspiracy related to the 2016 investigation into Russian election interference on behalf of the Trump campaign.
This move comes just a couple of weeks after the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, sent a criminal referral to the Justice Department regarding what she says proves there was a conspiracy to undermine Trump's candidacy and later his first term in office. Now, to be clear today, there are no charges that have been filed, no indictments. This is incredibly early in the process. What we have here is taking evidence the Justice Department believes it has to a grand jury to secure an eventual indictment or indictments.
Fox's David Spunt. The Texas House reconvenes without dozens of Democrats who fled the state to prevent a vote on a new congressional map more favorable to Republicans.
Donald Trump proved in these Hispanic-created districts that Hispanics, as well as other people in those districts, they want to vote Republican.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott on Fox. Most of the missing Democrats are in Illinois, some in Boston, some in Albany, New York, welcomed by Governor Kathy Hochul.
Good trouble's the best kind of trouble.
And Governor Abbott's threatening steps to have the Democrats removed from office if they don't come back, and members of the House who are there vote to issue arrest warrants, but it's unclear how those would be enforced in those Democrat-led states. Rally on Wall Street today.
Stocks did a U-turn to start the week. All three major indices rising. The Dow gaining back just about everything it lost at the end of the week. Investors were encouraged by news that the Fed will likely cut interest rates at its September meeting. There was just one major economic report today. Factory orders fell nearly 5%. At the close, the Dow was up 585 points. The NASDAQ 403 on the plus side, and the S&P up 92. The day's winners, tech and utility companies. Losers, energy companies.
Very all beginner there. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
What she will face. It's cloudy and 82 degrees in the Circle City with lows in the mid-60s tonight. I'm Jake McDaniel. This report is brought to you by Moss Roofing, and here's what's trending at 5:02. Crystal Scott, who is a convicted animal abuser, will now serve 18 more months in federal prison. She was found to have violated her supervised release, which stemmed from a conviction for animal crushing in 2021. She was spotted living in a van with many animals, which she was prohibited from having. After her current prison term, her new one for that matter, she will also serve 3 years of supervised release. Richard Allen's attorneys want more time to file an appeal John Herrick reports.
Allen was moved to a prison in Oklahoma last month. He was convicted of kidnapping and killing Abby Williams and Libby German in Delphi back in 2017 in a trial that ended in November of 2024. Allen says he's innocent. His attorneys say that despite their due diligence, they need more time to file an appeal because of how complex the case is. The due date is August 5th, so if their request was granted, the new deadline would be September 5th. John Herrick, 93, WIBC Mobile News.
Indiana's helping people build job skills and showing off what makes each region special to attract businesses. Ryan Hedrick has the new strategy.
Economic leaders are working with businesses and community groups to roll out changes step by step. They'll adjust along the way to make sure the improvements they're really trying to make are helping people.
I mean, I think the net of this is we want to expand the venture side of this, and I think it's one of the key reasons why we broke these things up. Traditionally, we've had venture and we've had Main Street all allocated into one bucket.
Indiana Secretary of Commerce David Adams telling Witch TV's All Indiana Politics that venture and Main Street play different roles in a state's economy. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
And the Indiana Fever take on the LA Sparks late Tuesday, tip-off at 10. They are 17-12 after they beat the Seattle Storm 78-74 Sunday night. You are now 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 5:04.
The kids are heading back to school, and let's be honest, you're finally getting the house to yourself again, which makes now the perfect time to take care of that roof, siding, or gutters you've been putting off. And Moss Roofing is here to help. Moss Roofing has been helping Central Indiana homeowners for 34 years. They're family-owned, locally rooted, and known for doing things right every single time. Free inspections, honest advice, and top-quality work on roofing, siding, gutters, and windows. They treat your home like it's their own, and they clean up like they were never there. That's why they've got great reviews and a loyal following of happy homeowners. So don't put it off any longer. Let Moss Roofing check your roof, your siding, and your gutters to make sure they're ready for the winter ahead. For your free inspection, call 317-747-3665. Tell them Tony Katz sent you. 317-747-3665. Moss Roofing, 747-3665, or online at Moss, M-O-S-S, mossroofing.com.
You've got WIBC traffic at 5:05. Here's Mike Priest.
Taking the tour, day 465. The south side is slow east from Bluff to Emerson. On the east side, crowded northbound from 56 to 75th. It's heavy southbound from 70 to 74. On the north side, westbound delays run from Meridian to Michigan Road. Going eastbound, it's heavy around the curve by 865 to Michigan. Then so from Keystone to 69, and northbound 69 getting pokey from 465 to 96th Street. This report is sponsored by Aleve. Traffic and body pain can slow you down, but don't let the pain stop you. With just one pill, Aleve provides up to 12 hours of pain relief so you can keep moving. Use as directed. I'm Mike Priest. Follow us on X for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Thank you, Mike. And now the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Spice showers can't be ruled out until our Monday night, with lows falling into the mid-60s. Feeling a little bit more uncomfortable Tuesday as we gradually increase the muggy beater with a spice shower storm chance. Highs in the mid-80s. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Stephen Deanna for 93 WIBC.
I'm Jake McDaniel, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are
weirdos?
So let's rock it!
Guy Relford in for Big Nige this afternoon. I'm Jason Hammer. Voice is back a little bit. I'm not quite at yelling and freaking out stage of my voice, Guy, but it's a heck of a lot better than anything that I was trying to play with on Friday at the State Fair show, man.
I listened to part of that, man, and you really had to fight through it. But I was really proud of you. And now you sound great today. I don't get any residual effect of that at all.
Thank you. I appreciate it. The big story that broke about an hour or so ago, Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, is now working on a grand jury for the Russia probe. We're talking about some of your favorite TV pals like Comey and Brennan. You're going to hear Obama's name, but I think the big fish here to keep an eye on, probably Brennan. Brennan's the one that doesn't have a pardon, doesn't have presidential immunity. That guy is the one to keep an eye on. if anything happens. And again, I'm very skeptical on these types of things. I always anticipate the bare minimum, and yet somehow I still get let down.
So true. But, you know, somebody on the YouTube chat asked a really good question, which is where the grand juror is going to be selected from. In other words, if this is a grand jury convened in D.C. and you're going to pull grand jury members from, you know, the public in D.C., how far would we expect this thing to go? And that's a fabulous question. I would assume that the grand jury is going to be convened in the District of Columbia, but do not know that. And they may have a basis to go to, you know, Maryland or Virginia, or perhaps get out of D.C. a little bit, depending on where the crimes really occurred.
You may have heard this story at the news at the top of the hour. Jake was talking about this. This lunatic Kokomo woman who pleaded guilty to animal crushing in November of 2021 is now returning to prison, which we were talking during the commercial break, Guy. I didn't know animal crushing was like a charge, like a thing. I didn't know. But according to this new release from the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of Indiana, 24-year-old Crystal Scott was sentenced to 18 months in federal prison, followed by 3 years of supervised release after she pleaded guilty to violating conditions of her previous supervised release. In late June, officers with the IMPD found this crazy woman with 12 cats and dogs in a poop-loaded U-Haul. According to multiple reports, the animals were dehydrated. Their bodies were in very low condition. And this came after she pled guilty to animal crushing back in November of 2021. This woman has been using an alias online to adopt a whole bunch of animals and store them in a U-Haul. And in the past, she tortured and killed the animals, Guy.
Yeah, how twisted and sick do you have to be? And, you know, a lot of our actual serial killers, you know, that have been identified through history started with cruelty to animals and torturing and killing animals, and then went on from there, all of which makes me extremely glad that this lady's going back to prison. 18 months, though, I mean, come on, your second offense, and actually came out and apparently while on supervised release, which is no joke in the federal system, started committing the same crime again. I would really hope a federal judge is as harsh as he or she can possibly be with this lunatic.
Based on tips, officials found a dead dog near her homeless shelter. I guess she was in one of these homeless shelters around town. They found a dead dog near that, but could not officially say that she was the reason that the dog was dead. But then near the homeless shelter where she had a U-Haul, 12 dogs and cats, all near death, malnourished, and they were alive, but it is a violation of her previous release.
Yeah, and she's going to do some time. The federal judges do not play on issues like this at all.
Dateline St. Louis. A guy went to the St. Louis City SC club soccer match wearing a MAGA hat, the traditional red hat, white letters, Make America Great Again. And the stadium security asked him to leave because apparently Major League Soccer's code of conduct says you can't wear political messaging on your attire. To which the guy who was recording pointed out that there were pride flags, trans flags being waved by people in the crowd. How was that not a political message? Here's a little bit of the guy being kicked out. Now, one of the security guards tells him, I'm a Trump supporter, but I have to do my job here. But this is the dude getting kicked out of the St. Louis soccer match for wearing the MAGA hat.
So I'm being asked to leave by the police because of Donald Trump.
Hey, I'm a Donald Trump dude.
You're a Trump fan?
I'm a MAGA. Yes,
yeah.
I am.
So I just want
all these coppers you got to deal with in MAGA, but they're not political here. They don't want any kind of political.
So those flags over there, those are pre-approved. Those flags over there, those aren't pre-approved. So my question to you guys is: are these rules equally enforced on everybody?
Here's my question to you.
And the only way I can do that
is
if I enforce it with you.
Or you just go
out and handcuff. So I'm being threatened with arrest.
So what do we think about this guy?
Well, a soccer team is a private organization, right? And as we've talked about before, you don't have First Amendment rights when it comes to private companies, private organizations, and they can impose whatever rules they want to.
What if they play in a taxpayer-funded stadium? And I don't know if they do or not.
That could change things, but it depends on whose policy it is. If it's the team's policy, that you don't have a First Amendment right as to a private organization. And so I'm not defending it. I think it's stupid. And where people tend to forget, what people tend to forget is that you're talking about supporting the elected president of the United States. This guy won the election. He won it by a wide margin. He won it in all the swing states. And by wearing a Make America Great hat, all you're doing is saying you support the current incumbent president of the United States. To me, that's more patriotic than it is, quote unquote, political. So I think it's ridiculous. And I would very likely choose to never attend another game in this stadium or with this organization again. But it's a little different than if it's the government telling you can't express your own political speech and your political thoughts.
He makes a good point, though. Like, if these security guards said, hey, it's policy, we enforce this evenly. You can't bring in a flag unless it's the team flag or something, and you can't wear political gear. Okay, fine. But there were people waving around the gay pride flags, the trans flags. The video clearly shows it that this guy put out there, but he was the one asked to leave.
Oh, yeah, but consider if it was even worse. Let's just say they have an open policy that says you can support liberal politics and a woke agenda and Democrat candidates, and you can support that all you want, bring in all your signs, flags, T-shirts, hats, but you can't support conservatives, you can't support Republicans, you can't support Trump. What if they had that policy? That would be absolutely, completely unfair. It would be absolutely one-sided. But they're a private organization. They can do it if they want to. It's just up to us to decide whether we're going to support that organization or not.
Guy, if you need a reason to drink tonight, or in this case, maybe eat, it is National Chocolate Chip Cookie Day. Chocolate Chip Cookie Day. I feel like the chocolate chip cookie is a little bit underrated, because it seems like the Oreo has hijacked the cookie market. Like, if you did a Family Feud style survey and you asked 100 people on Monument Circle, what's your favorite cookie? I think the number one answer would probably be an Oreo. But a good chocolate chip cookie, man, it's pretty strong. You could have them like from Chips Ahoy, where they're kind of hard and you break them apart. You could have the real soft kind. You could get them fresh out of the oven when they're hot. You could eat them cold. I'm down for a good old-fashioned chocolate chip cookie.
See, I think the Keeblers and chocolate or Chips Ahoy people have I think they've downgraded the chocolate chip, because those hard, crunchy chocolate chip cookies are nothing remotely close to a warm, melty chocolate chip cookie out of the oven, or where you can get from some of the walk-up places they have in malls and whatnot. And the warm, soft, gooey chocolate chip cookie, that's the cookie right there. That may be my absolute favorite.
Low key, Subway has really good chocolate chip cookies.
Oh, no
if
kidding.
you're going a place where you could buy them right now, other than a grocery store or a bakery, Subway, their chocolate chip cookies, very underrated. Subway is to cookies what McDonald's is to that Fountain Coke. Like, the Fountain Coke just hits different at McDonald's.
Yeah.
Man, Subway, the actual cookie, not the foot-long thing that they're trying to push off on people. The actual cookies are good. And since we're kind of going down a cookie rabbit hole here to take us into break, singing one of my favorite Limp Bizkit songs is the Cookie Monster.
I did it all for the cookie, the cookie, the cookie, and me can take a cookie and stick it in my yum, stick it in my yum, stick it in my yum.
To hear that guy stick it in my yum.
Yeah, is that what he was saying?
The Cookie Monster.
Okay, all right, okay.
Mike Brees, what's up?
Oh, Hammer, gotta tell you, the Costco double chocolate chunk cookie, it is a religious epiphany in your mouth.
Okay.
I mean that in a good way.
Okay.
Get one tonight. Let's see here. South on 65, thinning out from State Road 267 to 86th Street. And that's heavy from West Street all the way through downtown. Northbound jammed up Raymond to the South Split. On 70, tight eastbound going into the South Split and out of the North Split to Keystone. This report is sponsored by Rapid Radios. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies with nationwide LTE coverage. For a limited time, get 60% off and free UPS shipping at rapidradios.com. Use code RADIO for an extra 5% off. I'm Mike Priest. Follow us on X for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Okay, producer Allison, I'm going to need a verdict from you on something. Does it make me a complete lard ass if I buy double stuffed Oreos, open them up, put them together to make quadruple stuffed Oreos?
Yes. But that's something to be proud of.
80 degrees at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center. Fun round of Are You Okay With This? Next.
Hey, Matt Bear here for Trajan Wealth. I need a peace of mind in my retirement portfolio, and I found it with Trajan Wealth, your fiduciary advisors. If you're looking for the same, let me tell you about a must-see movie event hosted by Trajan. It's called Retirement on the Brink, an eye-opening documentary that highlights the risks that could derail your future in retirement. My friends at Trajan invite you to this one-night-only event, September 25th, at Flick's Brewhouse in Carmel. Book your VIP ticket by calling 800-670-0366 or go to retirementonthebrink.com. It's for anyone nearing retirement or just wanting to put together a roadmap for their personal wealth management. You'll hear about strategies to safeguard your financial future. Go to retirementonthebrink.com to reserve your VIP seat now or call 800-670-0366. Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth LLC and SEC registered investment advisor. Paid advertisement.
The Voice of Health Minute with Dr. Robert Prather of Holistic Integration.
CDC did a study on children and found that 65% of all children had heavy metal toxicity that they could find. 65%.
So do they absorb it faster?
They absorb it faster. And it actually will then go into the blood-brain barrier easier in children. And boys will absorb it and go to the brain quicker than girls. So boys are more sensitive to heavy metal toxicity. And really, one of the easiest types of checks that we do on babies and children, just to get their health back, children respond very quickly. So if you just get their hair analysis balanced out, get the heavy metals out. So if you're looking to make your kids smarter and better behaved, I've had kids go from special ed to honors just by getting their heavy metals out and balancing out their minerals.
The Voice of Health with Dr. Robert Prather, Sundays at 8 p.m. or anytime at thevoiceofhealthradio.com.
Lately, the market has been making some big moves, and not all in the right direction. If you've been watching the numbers and wondering what it all means for your retirement, you're not alone. At Howard Bailey Financial, we plan for times like this. The truth is, a volatile day on Wall Street can feel a lot different when you're getting closer to retirement. That's why right now is the right time to take a fresh look at your portfolio, and Howard Bailey can help. Are you taking on more risk than you realize? Are you diversified in a way that makes sense for where you are in life? Find out today with the help of our free Market Volatility Guide. Visit retirewithpurpose.com to download your free guide and learn more about what market shifts may mean for you. That's retirewithpurpose.com. Together, let's make sure your plan is built to weather whatever comes next. Howard Bailey Securities, LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Please see disclosures at howardbailey.com.
An official message from Medicare.
I turned 65 this year. I knew it was time to figure out Medicare, and I had questions, like when to enroll and how to enroll. So I went straight to the official source, Medicare.gov, to get the facts about Medicare. I found answers to all my questions, and I'm ready to get started. And so can you. Just go to Medicare.gov to get the real facts about Medicare.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Why do so many basement companies want half the money up front? Could it be because it's easier to get than earning all your trust? At the Michaelis Corporation, they don't ask for a deposit until the job is done and you're completely satisfied. They even start with a free inspection to ensure you know exactly what your home needs without the guesswork. With over 35 years experience, they've proven that trust is built on results, not deposits. Michaelis, building trust beneath your feet. Visit michaeliscorp.com.
Inside Indiana Business Radio, the news you need to get ahead. Indiana's business news leader, weekdays at 6:32 a.m. and 5:56 p.m. on WIBC.
Drexel Interiors, the place to go for upgrading your kitchen, bath, or flooring. Schedule your free design consultation at drexelin.com or visit their showrooms today. Go where the pros go.
Are you really okay with this?
Are you okay? Everything's gonna be okay.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
I'm pretty far from okay.
Are you okay with this? On the Hammer and Nigel show.
Oh, yeah!
So normally, this is where Nige would run the stories by me. But since I'm still fighting a little bit of a throat issue, I am going to be the host of this. I'm going to run stories by Guy Relford, who's filling in for Nige, and the Sydney Sweeney of the Hammer and Nigel show, producer Allison. Okay? Here we go. Guy, we're going to start with you. The remake of the Naked Gun movie opened up with $17 million domestically. Not great, but not awful. But it's one of the biggest openings for a comedy movie in a decade. Are you okay with that?
Well, I guess I should withhold judgment until reviews come out, and I've heard, I guess, relatively good things. But I can't imagine a Naked Gun remake without Leslie Nielsen. I mean, Liam Neeson. Really? I mean, do you think of him as being funny at all? I mean,
but that's kind of the joke, isn't it?
Maybe
like,
that is.
He's this surly, tough guy. I will find you. I will kill you. And now he's doing, poop jokes.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Leslie Nielsen will always be Frank Drebin to me, and I can't imagine I would go into that with a good expectation.
Allison, I think the interesting thing here is that $17 million is the biggest opening for a comedy movie in a decade.
That's what I was going to say. That's why I'm exactly okay with this. Make comedy great again. We want stupid comedy movies where we can watch them and not think about mindless things. I'm so sick of the dramas knocking all the box offices, so I'm here for the comedy comebacks.
I don't want a smart comedy either. I want something stupid. And I think the Naked Gun checks that box.
Happy Gilmore 2 last weekend hit Netflix at #1 because people want stupid comedies back.
Made like, what was it, 48 million people viewed that thing.
Yeah, and now Naked Gun. I'm here for it.
All right, Allison, we'll go back to you with this one. A fetish website says videos of people blowing up beach balls are oddly popular. As Rob Kendall would say, there's a genre for it. Are you okay with that?
No, I'm not. It's a fetish website for blowing up beach balls. I have so many questions. I can't be okay with it. I think
we had a story not that long ago, Guy, where some pervy dude in Florida was going around stealing everybody's pool noodles and inflatable rafts in their pool areas that they would take out in the water. They found hundreds of them because this pervert was stealing them because ladies were laying on them and he was sniffing them and doing God knows what with them.
Well, I have a question though. When they say blowing up beach balls, are we talking about just inflating them, or are we talking about putting firecrackers in them and exploding them? Because that sounds like a good time to me.
I would watch the latter. Yes, I would watch if somebody was stuffing dynamite in these things and then hitting a plunger like cartoons, like the Coyote would have.
Now we're talking. Or putting a firecracker in one and then sending it down, at the soccer stadium we were talking about in the stands. That would be funny.
I would watch that one. Okay. All right. Guy, back to you. According to a new survey, only 10% of people agree that all press is good press. We've heard that expression before. Sure. There's no such thing as bad publicity. Only 10% of people agree with that. Are you all right with that?
Yeah, I'm okay with that because of the word all. I mean, all press is good press. I mean, I don't know. Ask Richard Gere if all press is good press. All right? I mean,
of all the things you could have brought to the table, of all the examples, and you're going to throw some shrapnel on Richard Gere for an urban legend back in the early 80s.
I just look at it and said, what, something that was just totally negative and that went around the world. And, so I think you can't say all, no, and Richard Gere is my example A.
Allison?
Yeah, and to your point, we all knew what you meant. Yeah, I agree with I agree with Guy. Yeah, I've always question why all press is good press is a thing, because it's not true. I mean,
right. I don't think Subway would agree when Jared was going through his thing that all press was good press. Penn State football, the Jerry Sandusky scandal. Oh, look at all this great press we're getting. No, that's actually the opposite of what you want.
Bud Light.
Right. Exactly. And Richard Gere. I love so much. That was the first thing that popped into your head. Like, I can't even just express how awesome that is.
I love that everybody in the studio knew exactly what I was talking about.
Last one here. Allison, a couple abandoned their 10-year-old son at the Barcelona airport in Spain because his passport had expired, but they didn't want to miss their flight. So they left him there, basically said, catch a ride home, we'll pay for an Uber, we're going on our trip. Are you okay with that?
No, I'm not okay with this. This is the origin story of Joe Dirt all over again. This poor kid, I hope he grows up and becomes famous on the radio one day.
It's like the opposite of Home Alone, where the parents forgot to get Kevin.
Yeah.
They intentionally left Kevin this time.
This is on purpose.
Yes.
This is indefensible. I can't even believe that this happened. Sounds like neglect of a dependent. These people go to jail in the U.S.
Mm-hmm. Well, what do you want to do, hon? Well, our flight leaves in 30 minutes. He's doing fine. Just order him a cab. Here's the keys.
What did they say? See you in a week? I mean, I don't understand what the plan even was.
He's 10. All right, let's light this candle, shall we? Let's do a round of Ask the Gun Guy. We've got the best 2A attorney in all of America here. So if you've got a question about firearm use or situational questions, when can you use your weapon? Tell us about your situation. Take advantage of this, because the stuff he's telling you now, he normally charges you an arm and a leg for it, damn it. So if you want to take advantage of Guy Relford, the gun guy, call right now. 239-9393. That's 239-9393. Assuming our phone lines are working, we'll take your calls, and we will get those on the air coming up right after Jake does the news.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Expanding its reach. It is mostly cloudy and 83 degrees in downtown Indy. Low 64. I'm Jake McDaniel. Here's what's trending at 529. FBI Director Kash Patel was in New Zealand over the weekend to open the Bureau's new office, a move aimed at countering Chinese spying and influence in the Indo-Pacific region. This new office is the latest sign of the U.S. government's growing concern about China's global reach. Fox's David Spun from Washington.
The Chinese Communist Party has always been a big problem for the FBI. In fact, former director Chris Wray once said that the Bureau opens a case relating to Chinese espionage roughly every 12 hours. Now, the new FBI director, Patel, on the job for about 6 months now, continues to express concerns about China. Now, the FBI has had agents in New Zealand before, but this opens that formal attaché office, and it's strategic to combat Chinese espionage is just one example. Now, sure, Wellington, New Zealand, when you look on a map, is not next door to Beijing, China by any means, but of course, it's closer than Washington, D.C. In fact, the FBI already has an office in Beijing at the U.S. Embassy, but they believe that this attaché office in Wellington is the right move for the right time.
And the U.S. has also pointed to China's role in the opioid crisis. Back in 2020, the DEA found out that the flow of these drugs originally began in China before making their way into the U.S. There's been investment into the city of Terre Haute. John Herrick reports on what the mayor has planned next.
Terre Haute Mayor Brandon Sackman says his city has been helped out by $70 million from private investment. He tells Inside Indiana Business his mindset is out with the old and in with the new.
We've taken down some condemned, dilapidated buildings, getting set up for construction, a new apartment complex, a new hotel complex connected to our convention center.
He says they're trying to make building permits a quick and easy process online so that more people can come to his city and have a reason to stay there. John Herrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
And the average price for gas in Indiana today is $3.22 a gallon, says Gas Buddy. That is 7 cents higher than the national average, and the cheapest gas is in Terre Haute at $2.61. With WIBC traffic at 5:31, here's Mike Priest.
We got delays fading a bit south on 65. Just a tight spot now around State Road 267. It is still pretty heavy, though, from West Street all the way to the South Split. Northbound is tight approaching the North Split and then backed up east to Keystone. On 465, the north side, slow east 865 to Michigan Road, and again from Keystone to 69. This report is sponsored by Drexel Interiors. Drexel Interiors, the place to go for upgrading your kitchen, bath, or flooring. Schedule your free design consultation at DrexelIN.com. Visit DrexelIN.com for your free interior design or visit their showrooms today. I'm Mike Priest. Follow us on X for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And now the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
We'll track the potential for some isolated showers into our Monday night as lows drop into the mid-60s. Tuesday will feature a continuation of a spotty shower storm chance with a gradual increase in humidity as well. Highs will be near normal for this time of the year as numbers get into the middle 80s. We'll see highs in the middle 80s through Wednesday, with the humidity values being more on the uncomfortable side as well. A spot shower storm cannot be ruled out Wednesday. On Which TV, Storm Track 8 meteorologist Stephen Deanna for 93 WIBC.
I'm Jake McDaniel on the level on the go and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show.
This is where the gun guy, Guy Relford, answers all of your two-way questions, like, what's the policy if I need to drive across state? Or when can I legally kill someone? And everything in between. These are the things we tackle when we do Ask the Gun Guy. Now, we had a caller call up earlier and asked Allison two things. Number one, if she can record herself blowing up a beach ball. Okay. And number two, if she could ask the question because they couldn't stay on the line.
Correct. Yeah, Randy had a quick question and wanted Guy to cover hammerless versus conventional guns.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I mean,
I'm pro-hammer.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. We're talking about kind of the more traditional guns have a hammer that strikes a firing pin, makes the gun operate, where some guns really developed since then in more modern times are striker fired, meaning there's a striker, also a firing pin, driven by a spring called the striker spring. Some people prefer one, some people prefer the others. Striker fired tend to be very, very reliable. It's like a Glock that a lot of police officers carry. They tend to have a little spongier triggers that a lot of people don't necessarily prefer. Hammer-fired guns traditionally have a little nicer trigger. The nicest guns, the most accurate guns I own, are 1911 style or 2011 style hammered guns and some other really nice guns I have that, if I were doing a marksmanship competition, I would want to use a hammered gun. So to some degree, and there are exceptions to all of these things, but to some degree, you're trading a little bit of functionality with a trigger against reliability. That's a gross generalization. In terms of revolvers, because they do make hammerless revolvers, more accurately, they're usually shrouded hammers. There's a hammer in there, you just can't see it.
That's what my wife says.
Yeah, we
Sorry.
got shrouded hammer.
I've been sitting on so many hammer jokes. I've been letting you do your thing because it's an important question. But like my head was about to explode.
But the advantage of a hammered revolver is that you can cock it first. You can shoot it in what's called single action by cocking the hammer. A lot of people find that to be to make it easier to shoot a revolver. So I could talk the whole segment about hammered versus hammerless, but and we could spend an afternoon drinking beer having the same conversation there, Jason. But that's a short answer for you.
I like when Allison makes eye contact with me on something that is highly inappropriate, but I can't really say it, but she knows and I know.
I was saying, don't make me do the dump button.
Sometimes you have to cock a gun and sometimes you have... You know what? Never mind. Marvin is up next. Marvin, welcome to the Hammer and Nigel show.
How you doing? Hammer and Guy, appreciate it. In regards to ATF overnight banning the pistol AR because of the short stock or the blade.
The pistol braces?
Correct. What has changed? Is this going to get reversed? Is there a new law coming in place that's going to make this obsolete and not make a problem for anybody?
Well, there's a court case. There's a court case in Texas that invalidated this. And I've talked about this issue here on the show before with Jason and Nigel. But we're talking about a pistol stabilizer brace that some people use like a shoulder stock. ATF under Biden came out and said, well, that makes it a short-barreled rifle. It has to be registered. And if you have an unregistered one, we're going to put you in prison for 10 years. And but that was invalidated by a court in Texas. And across the entire country right now, that rule's not being enforced because a court found that it couldn't be enforced. Now, it's still on the books, and I would like to see the ATF under Pam Bondi's Department of Justice withdraw it and repeal it, and we can be done with it. But if you go to a gun store right now, they're selling guns with stabilizer braces on them, and they're doing so with the consent of the Justice Department as we speak.
Guy, here's a question from Twitter. It's from Bobby. I have a question for Guy. I've had bikers tell me that abate courses help even those who have ridden for years. Would Guy suggest frequent refresher courses for shooters?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I've been an instructor for 30 plus years, and I try to take 3 or 4 training courses a year just to stay sharp and or improve skills. And the metaphor, and hey, I'm a Harley rider, I'm a BATE member for many decades, and I think the analogy is a great one. I think refresher courses for shooting, because it's a perishable skill. It's not like riding a bike. You haven't squeezed a trigger in a while, you're not going to be as good as you were when you were practicing a lot or coming right out of a training course. So I think it's a fabulous idea, and my answer is enthusiastic yes.
Paul is up next. Paul, welcome to the show. We got Guy Relford here.
Thank you. I'm an elderly guy, and I haven't had guns in my house for a long time, but I'm very interested in the Byrna product, or what can you tell me about at least buying time? I'm also disabled. Is that product something worth considering?
You know, what the gentleman's referring to for the listeners is essentially a pepper ball gun. It shoots a pepper ball that when it hits an object, it disperses that that aggravates eyes and skin and disrupts breathing, etc. And the honest answer is I've not tested it. I've not seen it tested. I've not done a deep drill on it. I've had the question on my show on Saturdays several times. I can't tell you absolutely yes, it works. I also can't tell you, having tested pepper sprays and OC sprays. I've been sprayed with OC spray as part of training courses, and I can tell you that under some circumstances, when a person's really high on drugs, person's particularly crazy and really high on drugs, OC spray sometimes does not work. So if there was a dude kicking my door down in the middle of the night whose plan was to come in and murder me and my family, I'd want to have a real gun. But obviously people need to work around any physical limitations they have. But I'll tell you what, I've given lessons to an awful lot of people with disabilities, people in wheelchairs, people that can only operate one hand. There's a way to work around those if your preference would be to have a real firearm. The key would be obviously to be able to manage that safely and also be able to have appropriate marksmanship skills.
Fred is up next. Fred, we got Guy Relford here. Go ahead.
Thank you, sir. I have a request or a question about residency. I am from Castleton, grew up, had a star for Hamilton County, Marion County, and I'm retired. I live out in New Palestine. However, I have a Florida driver's license. Some people say they can sell me a gun here. Some people say they can't. Is it a mandatory that I have a Indiana driver's license to purchase a gun in Indiana?
Well, yeah. I mean, you have to show that you're a resident of the state, and typically the way that operates, you go in to buy a gun in a gun store, they're going to require you to show an Indiana driver's license to establish that you're an Indiana resident, as if you're buying a handgun. So that's what most gun stores are going to do. Do you have an argument that even though you have a Florida driver's license, you are actually a resident of Indiana and can prove that? I think, and again, maybe my FFL buddies, my gun store owner buddies will correct me on this. I think the law requires you to show ID, that official government issued ID that establishes you as an Indiana resident for somebody to sell you a handgun.
Rick is up next. Rick, Welcome to the Hammer and Nigel show. Guy Relford's here.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Love it. Love it.
What you got?
Hey, quick question for you, two of them. One of them is that the big fiasco going on with the Sig Sauer 320s. Have you had a chance to look at that or talk to people about that?
I talked about it on this show. You need to go back and listen to the podcast, and we talked about that in my Monday Gunday segment starting at 3:35. So you'll go back and catch that. I talked about it in some depth. Did you have a second question quickly?
Yeah, a quick question. Have you seen on a lot of these YouTube videos where law enforcement is actually they're using a taser against someone who's has a knife or a baseball bat or some other weapon?
Sure. Yeah, I've seen a lot of those.
Yeah, so that's kind of the wrong way to use a taser. If you're facing deadly force, you should be using a deadly force option, not a taser. But I just thought that's quite funny. I see all these cops in different states using a taser when someone's got a knife.
Well, no, I don't have a problem with that. The issue is, can the officer do it within his or her training? Can they do it safely and do it so as to eliminate or contain that threat? And if the answer to all those things is yes, then I think the training in most departments is going to be to use the minimal level of force that contains the threat that the officer can do safely and doesn't put anybody else, whether other officers or civilians, in jeopardy. If the answer to that is all yes on the use of a taser, I don't have any problem with them using a taser in that circumstance. Why? Because now somebody's not getting shot and potentially killed, and that's generally a good thing.
We'll do one more here. Ken gets the last word. Ken, rock and roll.
Hello. Yes, I have two real fast questions. Can I rent a table at a gun show without an FFL and take maybe 6-7 guns? Do I have to have the FFL to sell?
Well, you have to have an FFL to be engaged in the business of buying and selling firearms. And there's no specific number. There's not a minimum number of guns. The ATF says, aha, you're now engaged in the business. So are you repeatedly buying and selling guns so as to make a profit?
No.
That's pretty much the only test now. So that's so there are a lot of people that sell guns at gun shows that don't have FFLs. So that tells me that the gun show folks are renting them tables. I know when I've rented tables, not to sell guns, but to promote my classes, or when I was running Eagle Creek Pistol Range, they asked me the question, at the gun show people did, are you going to sell guns and do you have an FFL? But the legal requirement is not to have FFL just to rent a table. It's if you're repeatedly selling guns to make a profit. And let me tell you, right now, the ATF is given a huge amount of attention and critical review of people with tables set up that don't have FFLs at gun shows. You are inviting the ATF to come take a very hard look at you to decide whether they want to investigate you further, look into all your other sales, including online, and decide whether you're somebody that's illegally engaged in the business. So you might as well have a great big old target for the ATF on your shoulders or on your back if you're setting up a table to sell guns at a gun store, or a gun show these days when you don't have an FFL. Can you potentially do it legally? Yes. Is there a lot of risk associated with it? Absolutely. And I've defended those cases.
All right. Good questions. Good round of questions, everybody. Thank you to Guy. That is how you do a solid round of Ask the Gun Guy.
This is Denny Smith for Zero Res, and Zero Res is celebrating Pet Appreciation Month with something kind of nice for pet parents. Get 3 rooms Zero Resified for $129. Get 15% off pet odor treatments and $50 off air duct cleaning too. Look, pets have accidents, sometimes big ones, messy ones, the ones that make you gag a little when you're trying to clean up. And if you're thinking it's just dogs, cats can absolutely mistake carpets for a litter box. Vacuuming is just not going to fix that. Zero Res can clean virtually any surface in your home. And remember, Zero Res's patented ZR water cleans with no soaps, no residue, no harsh chemicals. And it's clean, safe, and effective, and that's why they have a 4.9 rating on Google with over 5,000 reviews. Just call Zero Res, mention WIBC, you'll get 3 rooms clean for $129, get 15% off pet odor treatments, and $50 off air duct cleaning. 317-388-5141, ZeroResIndy.com.
Hammer here. For the first time ever, the Low T Center now offering hormone replacement therapy for women. For women, Low T doesn't just affect guys. In fact, testosterone can benefit women as well. Other treatment options are available to help women balance their hormones and bring balance back to their life with in-center and at-home treatment options. Find out which treatments are right for you at a Low T Center. Ladies, come to any Low T Center, get a test that includes a full hormone panel and further analysis to treat the whole patient. Lab results. Talk about how you feel. Create a personalized hormone therapy plan just for you. And guys, you already know it is your one-stop shop for all things men's health. You can even ask about prescription weight loss medication, and most health insurance is accepted. Go to fixmylowt.com and book that appointment today. fixmylowt.com.
It's Terry Stacy, and not too many locally owned businesses in central Indiana have been around 80 years. But Cardwell Do It Best Home Center on the south side has stood the test of time. This year, Cardwell Do It Best is celebrating 80 years of serving Indianapolis, and they're saying thank you with some really great deals. Cardwell Do It Best is your discount roofing headquarters, featuring dimensional roofing as low as $21 per bundle. With a wide variety of colors in stock, you'll find the perfect match for your home. Need to freshen up inside? Check out their full line of best look quality paints by Sherwin-Williams with paint and primer in one and custom computer paint matching to get your color just right. And for the yard, they carry a full line of trusted lawn and garden products, including Scott's Lawn Care to keep your grass green. Come celebrate 80 years strong at Cardwell Do It Best, locally owned, community trusted, and always ready to help you do it best. 3205 Madison Avenue, or shop online at cardwellhomecenter.com.
Let's go! You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
The Attorney General's Unclaimed Property Division has over $800 million just waiting to be claimed. Text Hammer and Nigel to 46220 or visit indianaunclaimed.gov to claim yours today.
Wendy's has breakfast biscuits for just $1, including the Honey Buddy. Start your day off right. Gotta be Wendy's. Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. Limit 5 qualifying items per transaction. Not valid in a combo while supplies last.
News doesn't wait, and neither should you. Breaking news updates, local headlines, and statewide coverage are always available at WIBC.com. When the news moves fast, we will too. Stay in the know while you're on the go with WIBC.com.
Mike Priest has a look at the roads.
We have a crash on the south side, Epler and Madison. In Carmel, 116th is all jammed up with power lines down on the roadway east of Keystone Avenue. North side of 465, so east off 865 to Meridian, and again from Allisonville to 69. East side, so northbound from 56th Street on to northbound 69, which then creeps along past 82nd with a stall blocking the right lane. This report is sponsored by Drexel Interiors. Drexel Interiors is the place to go for upgrading your kitchen, bath, or flooring. Schedule your free design consultation at DrexelIN.com. Visit DrexelIN.com for your free interior design or visit their showrooms today. I'm Mike Priest. Follow us on X for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Cloudy skies, 80 degrees at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center. Coming up in the 6 o'clock hour, we're going to give away tickets to go see Rod Stewart. A little hot rod for you. Also, Live Golf. Bryson DeChambeau, as Rob Kendall would say. DeChambeau and some of the biggest names coming to Indy. Live Golf. We'll give away some tickets for that coming up in the 6 o'clock hour as well. I'm Jason Hammer. Guy Relford, been filling in for Nige all afternoon. Guy, happy 70th birthday to actor Billy Bob Thornton. Do you like any Billy Bob Thornton movies?
Oh, man, Sling Blade, one of the all-time great movies.
French fried taters.
Yeah, absolutely. Whenever I say you got any blank in there, I always hear him in my mind. That just an absolute, yeah, absolutely. And you know what? My wife started watching, was it Landman?
Landman.
And my wife wasn't crazy about it. I really want to watch that because it gets great reviews.
I loved season 1.
Yeah.
Takes a little bit to get going, but by the end, you're hooked. And, they're making season 2 right now. And with Billy Bob Thornton, man, I love Bad Santa.
Oh, yeah.
Bad Santa. Like, even though it's one of the most vile movies, I kind of feel like Billy Bob Thornton's just playing himself. Billy Bob Thornton and Charlie Sheen are two actors that just make a killing playing themselves in things.
They really do.
He's like a red ass in Landman. He's a red ass in Bad Santa. But there's also some good to him. Like this scene in Bad Santa where the kid, Thurman Merman, the little fat curly-headed kid, he was getting beat up by a bully, and then Billy Bob Thornton beat up his bully.
I think I've turned a corner. I beat the out of some kids today, but it's for a purpose. It made me feel good about myself, like I accomplished something.
You need many years of therapy. Many years of therapy.
Like Billy Bob Thornton's always a hard-drinking, somewhat cerebral red ass, but pretty smart in everything that he's in. And Charlie Sheen just plays Charlie Sheen.
Oh, exactly. But when Angelina Jolie gets a tattoo of you on her body anywhere,
right?
I'm sorry, you're a rock star in my mind. You are a hero in all respects.
Guy Relford filling in for Nige again in the 6 o'clock hour. We'll reset the biggest stories in Indianapolis, but Rod Stewart tickets to give away. Live Golf, go see some of the biggest names. Some of the dudes that were even in the new Happy Gilmore movie, they're part of Live Golf. Those giveaways up next.
Watching your parents get older is something you never get used to. You know it's going to happen, but it still doesn't seem right, especially when the time comes to consider moving a parent into a nursing home. It's a hard decision for you and them, and when that's the right choice, there's the added stress of what to do with the house. Simple Quarters understands and can help relieve some of that stress. They're a Christian company who is compassionate about what you and your parent are going through. They can help with the logistics of selling the home. They'll buy it as is, no need for repairs, cleaning, staging, or showings. No catch. It's one less thing for you to worry about. Simple Quarters, a Christian company dedicated to helping families through life's transitions. If you're facing the challenge of selling a home due to a loved one moving into an assisted living or nursing home, call Simple Quarters at 317-900-HOME. That's 317-900-HOME. Or go to simplequarters.com.
An official message from Medicare.
I'm